confident in you. Jaja, know you not gonna make me suffer. Enemies trying them up it, scatter and batter and flatter. Protect my people, Jah. No let them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my nation, Jaja. Cause we no want me no land to no slaughter. Protect my people, Jah. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect my nation, Jaja. Hey, protect my nation, Jaja. Downtown, and up here ground, you know. Whole heap of tension, trouble surround. Marcus prophesy, head I go roll. Me wonder if prophecy I go unfold. Uptown, can't go downtown, you know. All country people worried, you know. We means of survival buried. Worries in a Middlesex land, well I'm sorry. Father help me, some heart and mercy. Father help me, preserve Jamaica beauty. Want you protect my people, Jah. No make them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my nation, Jaja. Hey, protect my people, Jaja. Hey, look at the youth them, watch them. Can the beast have a system to trap them? The police and the thugs are your children. And you alone have authority to judge them. Could I go suffer for bad? The place I go mad. Don't make it get bad like over bad blood. When politics fail and religion fail, and the most I alone will. Protect your people, Jah. Now let them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my people, Jah. Cause we no want in a land to no slaughter. Protect your people, Jah. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect your people, Jah, 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 Jah. Jah. I tell a town, and I be a ground, you know. Whole heap of tension, trouble surround. Marcus prophesy, head I go roll. Me wonder if I know prophecy I unfold. Uptown, can't go downtown, you know. All country people worried, you know. We means of survival buried. Worries in a Middlesex land, well I'm sorry. Father help me, some heart and mercy. It most I help me, preserve Jamaica beauty. Ooh, but why you protect your people, Jah? Now let them get caught in the crossfire. Protect your nation, Jaja. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect your people, Jah. Cause they don't know what them doing. Protect your people, Jah. Mind the whole place get moving. Confident in you, Jaja.
The 90s 100%. Adrianna Younge actually draw me 100% to the Guyanese family, and see that the community support each other. And if all of us will do that, this world will be a better place. Shout out to all the Guyanese celebrating right now. You're independent. This is beautiful. I want y'all saying peace 100% to let them know that we can party together and nothing goes wrong. Alright? Like I told y'all, this song right here is dedicated to Adrianna. If you Guyanese and you out here representing for Adrianna, put your flags up right now. We gonna do it different. You ready? Woodford, where you at, man? Let's go. Oh, okay. Take out your flags right now. Let's go, let's go. Watch your mind. Big up Sean on the truck, you already know. GT man, right? From the enemy. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. It's all about justice, right? You need to talk to the Lord, hear my cry. I cannot do my we gonna show them how we get on different from Utica, right? On Church Avenue, we act civilized. Up on Utica, bring up Auntie Barbara, watch the vibes, watch the vibes. They're saying, everybody, you gotta go behind the truck before we move. You gotta go behind the truck. Everybody go behind the truck. We doing it different down Utica. They're gonna take 2 minutes. Let's go, let's go. Here we go. Hear my cry, oh, I take on to my pain. Watch how my Guyanese people organize and be civilized. Watch it there. I want all my Guyanese flag behind the truck, right? Justice for Adrianna, right? You ready? You ready? Auntie Barbara, pick up yourself, pick up yourself. Everyone on the sidewalk, come behind the truck. We doing it different. We gonna show them how our Guyanese people get time. All the people on the sidewalk get behind the truck. From the enemy. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. That is higher. You need to talk to the Lord, hear my cry. I cannot do my best. From the end of the earth, I cry out to thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, when my heart justice for Adrianna. It's all about justice for Adrianna. Dr. Rick Fredberg who put this together, alright? That is higher than to the whole young family, man. We appreciate y'all, man.
Welcome to another edition of Voice of the Diaspora. In studio with me today is none other than US-based Guyanese activist and social media influencer Hector Nature Boy Stoute. We will be talking about the performance of the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, and whether the Pncr is prepared to enter into the 2025 national election set for September and triumph. Many believe that the PNC has not even gotten off the blocks. Hector Nature Boy Stoute is a vocal activist, and he speaks out and he confronts. And that is what a democracy needs. regardless of what anyone thinks of him. He is welcomed on this program to give his views in whatever way he wants. He is Guyanese and he is an activist. We bring him in now. Hector Nature Boy Stoute, welcome to Voice of the Diaspora. I think you've got two. You've actually got two of yourself on screen. I don't know what is happening there. Let me see if I can sort this out.
Take the one that you just added.
Yeah,
Take the one that you just added. The last
yeah.
one.
Good. I've got you now. Welcome to our viewers. A lot of viewers are tuning in. You are a bit low there, but I know that you've been so busy today, from interviews to interviews, so you didn't have much time to prepare. You're perfect there now. You're perfect there now. And so I want to welcome you. This is your debut on Voice of the Diaspora. You are the activist trending at the moment. You're trending at the moment, and for many, it would be for good reasons, and for some who disagree, it's for bad reasons. But you are here. You're welcome here to be candid and to give your views the way you normally give them on your different platforms. I want to start by just getting your view a bit on what you thought about. You were present at the Independence celebration in New York. You were there. What was your feelings about Adrianna and the tribute to her done by the Independence celebration group?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your program, Mr. Norman Brown. It's one of the great aspirations of my career. You would say it was in my bucket list. So I want to thank you for having me. It's a humbling experience to be on your program. Now, as far as the program yesterday, I want to give out kudos to the promoters and the organizers. They, with whatever limited resources they had, they did a great job. They did a wonderful job, and I want to congratulate Mr. Rickford Burke and his team for putting together the event that they put together yesterday.
Wonderful, wonderful. It was a good turnout. Thousands of Guyanese were there, and the celebration was great. So kudos to Rickford Burke and the rest of the organizers, and to all the senior politicians who were there. Akeem Jeffrey and a number of others, and so we want to thank them. Hector, let's go straight into the program. You've been a vocal activist. Many would want to know who is Hector Stoute, Hector Nature Boy Stoute. And so before I ask you my first question, because it's your first time here on this program, I would like you to give a brief introduction of yourself. I know you were born into the PNC. Some have said you're military. We don't know anything about you. So tell us a bit about who Hector Stoute is before we go straight into the issue at hand.
First of all, my name is Hector Stoute Jr. Hector Stoute was my dad. I'm Junior. I don't think my dad was as vocal politically as I am. But my I was born in Guyana. Well, actually, I was born in England, but I went to Guyana when I was about 4 weeks old, and so I consider myself to be full Guyanese. Um, I I lived in Guyana until I was 13 years old. So then I migrated to the United States of America. So out of being in the United States 42 years, I I was in the United States military for a period of time. Then I got out and I ran a couple of car dealerships. I ran a couple of the largest car dealerships in Texas and in the United States. That's where my management experience comes in. Then I went back into the military after to pursue my civilian to pursue my education. And to get promoted in the military, anyone knows that if you want to get promoted in the military, you have to attain a certain amount of civilian education. So for me to get promoted all the way up the ranks, I had to get an associate's degree, then a bachelor's degree, then I got a master's degree, and then when I retired from the military, I pursued my PhD in history. So even though I I'm afforded the title of doctor,
I think we're getting some static there from Nature Boy.
I
I'm
think
sure.
doctor is a term that can be slightly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you now. You got off a
Yeah,
bit. Yeah,
yeah.
you came off a bit there just now.
Someone was trying to call me. So it's not a term that I use lightly. Um, but I
So you have a PhD. You have a doctorate, and
yes,
that's in what?
history.
You have okay. Okay, go ahead.
I was I was an associate professor for a little while at Brooklyn College, and then I decided that there was other things that I wanted to do with my life other than running behind some professor and basically just stepping in for him when he wasn't there and stuff like that. So I decided that I was gonna freelance, and here I am.
There you have it, viewers. Hector Nature Boy Stoute, a bit about him there. And you know what is beautiful is that you convey a clear a mind and you know you and very sound intelligence and you put on that bravado, or that's an aspect of you in which you get ghetto, you get but many at least I can see underlying that, and that is good for activism. That approach is great for activism, so we don't have a problem having that. But it's so good to know that you're educated, highly educated. You've been in the military. You're well-rounded. You've got a doctorate, and so now they know right here on Voice of the Diaspora. It is a pleasure having you on here, and you're welcome to come on at any time. I admire your activism, and we need that sort of activism at this juncture. Hector, let's go straight into the program. We got to talk now. We're going to talk raw now. The People's National Congress, its leadership, and its leader, Aubrey Norton. We are heading fastly into the national elections, national and regional elections in September. Some is slated for September the 1st. Some are saying, they said the president said it's slated for September the 1st, but we are close by. And many believe that the PNCR and its leadership, especially its leader, are not giving any signals or signs or any impression that they're even interested in commencing a campaign. Talk to us about your view of the PNCR and of its leader.
Well, can you hear me?
We're hearing you clearly and we're seeing you clearly.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Well, no, the PNC was once a great party. It was a party that was founded by the late Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, and it reached a crescendo in its history during the 70s and 80s and the early part of the 90s. And what has happened ever since then, ever since the late Desmond Hoyt would have passed the baton and he passed away, it has the PNC has been on a steady decline into oblivion, into irrelevance. So and that was because of poor leadership and poor membership. Because poor leadership comes from poor membership, right? Because that's because if you have poor citizens, your poor citizens are gonna they're going to elect poor leadership, and that's what happened to the PNC. It became a party of who has been around the longest and whose turn it is because they've been around the longest, even though they might not be qualified for certain positions or whatever. Then you have people like the late Amna Ali, God rest her soul, but she was also a hindrance to the party moving forward. because when you keep these parties stalwarts around too long, they become stale, you know, and they become a hindrance to growth. And if you notice, if you go in any beauty salon or anything like that, you see the women clipping the edges so that the hair can grow, right? So for the longest time, the PNC failed to clip its edges. It failed to clip the dead hair. So it prevented the party from growing. It prevented from the party from reaching out to the younger voters. You know, the young voters that have come along, they have no idea about how great the PNC was and how it could be, because those people have been stifled. So you got, so now you got the party is the PNC became the party of it's my turn. That's what it became. And with it being the party of it's my turn, then you get people like Aubrey Norton that come along that really, other than the fact that he went to school in Russia for a little bit and he might have lectured at UG that he wasn't really qualified for, but just because of certain connections or whatever, he became a lecturer that, these people get moved up along the way in the party, and they're really not qualified. So that has made the PNC a party that became listless, and now it's the party that is lost in the wilderness, and it's been lost in the wilderness for however long. I don't know when this 40 years of being lost in the wilderness for the PNC is going to be over. And it's sad. And I would have voiced my concern to Hamilton Green, because the same body Hamilton Green, Aubrey Norton, took afforded himself the right to give my phone number to Hamilton Green, to have Hamilton Green to call me when my editorial was published in the Kaito News asking for Aubrey Norton to step aside. He took the liberty of giving out my phone number, and Hamilton Green would have called me, and I voiced my displeasure with him, with the party. Now let's circle back to something here. I am not a member of the PNC, and I've never been a member of the PNC. Just because my mother and my father, my grandmother and my grandfather were part of the PNC, I have never said that I'm a member of the PNC. I've never claimed membership in such organization. So when I'm speaking, I'm trying to speak from the point of view of an objective outsider that is what was once a great party deteriorate into whatever it is right now.
Deteriorating to whatever it is right now. You're not satisfied with the performance of Aubrey Norton. We are aware that the PPP Civic has been riding roughshod over the nation. So much has been happening. It seems to many that the major party, the PNCR, would not have been putting their shoulders to the wheel, putting its shoulder to the wheel to confront the PPP. What are some of the things that you believe that Aubrey Norton, the leader of the opposition and the leader of the PNCR, should have been confronting robustly that cause you not to believe in him because those things are not being confronted?
Well, this started. You gotta go back a little bit in history here and go back to Robert Corbin, because what Arby Norton has become is Robert Corbin light. You remember when they used to have Pepsi Light and Coke Light and stuff like that. Basically, Robert Arby Norton has become Diet Robert Corbin. Basically, as far as an opposition, they've been non-existent. They've been complacent. Aubrey Norton, and he knows this for a fact. He spends more of his time trying to manipulate people and stroking people
Average
from
Marsh,
from
WhatsApp audio.
from the in the back, from in the background, and not actually being a leader on the front line. The only thing that I can think of relevance that Aubrey Norton has done as the leader of the opposition was what he did last week when he walked out to Parliament when the PPP called for that front on the as far as Venezuela is concerned. It was about 2 weeks ago. That's the only thing that any Guyanese. I want one Guyanese to tell me, other than that, what can they remember Aubrey Norton for as leader of the opposition? And that's a shame. His leadership has been quite unremarkable. All right. take a page from Barry Jaggio's time as leader of the opposition. You remember how flamboyant he was, how boisterous he was, how how he was in every single thing that David Granger was. Barry Jaggio shadowed him. He could tell you what David Granger was doing, what he was going to do, how he was thinking, and everything. Aubrey Norton has been sidelined. He has been completely sidelined. He has been of no relevance. He has been of no use. So there are a lot of people that are angry at me for voicing my opinion. But my whole deal is this: Guyanese people have become too complacent. They have become too complacent, and they've set themselves up to always accept mediocrity. And anyone that tries to raise the bar or speak out against mediocrity is considered to be an upstart. They're considered to be a madman. They're considered to be disrespectful. You know, they try to sideline them because anybody that tries to pull you up, you want to fight against it. So that's what's going on with the Guyanese electorate now. As far as the opposition, they they like what the way they are. They like the fact that Aubrey Norton is the leader. They like the fact that he hasn't done anything for them. They like the fact that he's not been a voice to them, and they're happy with it. So anybody that comes along now and challenges that, you're being disrespectful to the leader. No, that's not how it goes. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. That's not how it works. Things don't change. You keep going with the same thing over and over again. And Aubrey Norton has done. They say that Aubrey Norton has been tried and tested. Please tell me, when has Aubrey Norton been tried and tested as a politician? Please give me one example. I dare anyone that's a supporter of Aubrey to come forward right now and please school me, because I'm a student. I love learning. I love being a student.
Well,
Please teach me
a segment of
one.
this program a bit later on will have people calling in and asking questions. But Hector, I agree with you here in your view so far, in your views so far. One thing I want viewers to understand is that when you see those vocal in favor of Aubrey Norton on social media, it's the only place people are vocal, and it's a few people that, and they make it appear as if it's a white cross section of Guyanese views they're representing. But in reality, our investigations show that Aubrey Norton has really no sort of support among the grassroots across Guyana. So people must not be fooled by the fact that you have 20 and 100 people coming out on social media vocal in Norton's favor. I think the action by Guyanese, by not coming out and supporting him, not meeting with him, not going to big meetings. We see Azruddin Mohammed going into communities and people are flocking him. People are literally coming out from our strongholds and from the PPP strongholds. We don't see that with Norton, even in New York City yesterday. I think the highlight Norton got, the highlight he got came from you, and I think that he should thank you. But look, Hector, and so I wanted to make that point clear, and you're really correct in what you're saying. But I want you to talk to us about what are some of the things that he should have addressed that were of critical importance to the opposition standing a chance at even winning the national and regional elections. Let us take GCOM for example. Let's take GCOM. Talk to us about GCOM and what Norton and the PNC could have done that they have not done in relation to that important aspect.
Okay, as far as GCOM is concerned, like I said, I'm a student of history, and I love history so much because history tells us exactly where we are and where we headed. You remember when Barry Jaggio was the opposition leader, and David Granger wanted to install his guy at GCOM as the head of GCOM. You remember that
Yes, I
fiasco?
recall, yeah.
Okay, and you remember Patterson? That's his name, Patterson. That that Granger was trying to make him the head of GCOM. And Barrigagio in no uncertain terms said, hell no, that's not gonna happen. You're not putting Patterson in at the head of GCOM. Okay? Because Barrigagio was being an opposition leader. He was being an active opposition leader. Everything that Barrigagio wanted when he was the leader of the opposition, he accomplished. Everything. He wanted Claudia Singh. Guess who's the head of GCOM? All right. He wanted them to stop the house registration. Guess what happened? The house registration stopped. Everything that Barry Jaggio wanted, he got. Now I'm not saying that everything that Aubrey Norton wants he would get, but at least pretend to us like you acting like you want something.
Precisely.
Yeah, at least bluff your voters into thinking that you're doing something for them. All right. Don't just sit back and don't do nothing, and just to go back to what you said as far as him showing up yesterday. Let me ask you a question. Do you think if Rickford Burke had had advertised we having a Guyana Independence Day and Aubrey Norton is going to be the main speaker and this is going to be dedicated to Aubrey Norton, do you think he would have had a quarter to the people that he had yesterday?
Well, I can't answer that question because this program is yours. It is you that would have to answer that question.
Well, I'm telling you this: the last large groups that Aubrey Norton has spoken to. Listen to this. Listen to this now. When they had the deal for Melly Mel at Coffee Square,
Yeah.
okay, and when those boys in Linden died when they had their funeral, he happened to parachute into those events to have a crowd to speak to. Otherwise than that, ain't nobody showing up in their hundreds and thousands to listen to Aubrey Norton talk. Okay,
Not even in the 80s or 90s. And
okay,
that's the point I'm making. Not cutting you, but the thing is, there's no evidence that Aubrey Norton has been on any outreach in recent times, if ever, where he has gotten a third of the crowd that Mohammed and Jack Dio and Irfan and those people would have that they are
exactly.
having, and we have to face the reality. But Hector, I wonder why. Why you think that is happening?
Because I remember having a conversation with Cameron Dramjutan a while back where he said, you know, they were having a rally in Buxton, and Cameron wouldn't start the rally until Nigel Hughes showed up for the rally. And I asked him, I said, why is it so important that Nigel speaks at this rally? And the one thing that I took away from that conversation, he said, Hector, you always have to have the right horse for the right course. A horse can be real fast, but if it's not good on dirt and it's only
Correct.
good on grass, you can't race that horse on dirt. You only got to keep that horse on grass, right? Or as you guys with England would say, turf.
Turf, yeah.
So Aubrey Norton is not the right horse for this course. All right. And like a friend of mine would have joked a while back, he said he wouldn't even put RB in this race if all the other horses only had three legs. Because he is not the right horse for this course. Now, if you're a businessman, and like I would have said in the program earlier, if you're a businessman and you're looking to hire associates for your company, and you send out an advertisement saying we're hiring next Thursday at 10 a.m. Show up with your resume and be properly attired for an on-the-spot interview because we're doing on-the-spot hiring, right? Now, if Aubrey Norton was to show up for that interview, and you would first of all you look at his attire, how he carries himself. He doesn't carry himself in a presidential way. His
Okay.
attire is not befitting someone that's in a leadership position. His resume, exactly what is Aubrey Norton's resume? What position has he been of leadership other than inside the party? What what great organizations outside of the PNC has Aubrey Norton started and mentored and 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 raise young people up, with them following him. Aubrey Norton parachuted into the position of leader of the opposition because he was made the leader of the PNC, because his cronies and his buddies elected him as leader of the PNC, because he was going up against a clown named Joe Harmon, who has no business in politics, none whatsoever. You know, and as a matter of fact, the next government, I would not only would I recommend them going after members of the PPP that would have disappeared with funds that belong to the Guyanese treasury, but Joe Harmon is another person that I would consider looking into it being investigated. All right. So when you have six of one and a half a dozen of the other, the members of the PNC decide to go with Aubrey Norton because they said it's his turn, right? And Joe Harmon was not really popular within the party. So they went with Aubrey Norton. Aubrey Norton has never done anything to prove that he's any kind of leader. He's deserving of leadership. He's never done anything. There's nothing politically that Aubrey Norton has achieved that anyone can point to and says that is deserving of leadership. Now, when it comes to leadership, I think I can speak on leadership.
Yeah.
I've been a squad leader. I've been a platoon sergeant. I've been a first sergeant. I have been an instructor. I have been a drill sergeant. I have done it all. I have taught classes on leadership from E1s all the way up to sergeant majors. So I know what leadership look like. I know what leadership entails. Leadership is just not something you can go to the corner store and buy. Leadership is something that has to be trained. It has to be developed. It has to be nurtured. And Aubrey Norton is not befitting of any of those traits of leadership. Because the first thing is to be a leader. I've always believed is that you have to be a good follower, and the people that are in leadership have to identify you as a good follower, so and you are worthy of leadership. When David Granger was the president, he was in leadership. He did not identify Aubrey Norton for any leadership positions in his government because he didn't look to Aubrey Norton as someone that had the leadership traits that we can develop to be a future leader. So that's why that's why I said when you look at his resume is lacking. It's wanting. And and there are a lot of people that put their trust and faith in Aubrey Norton, and they're angry at me right now. And I understand your hurt. I understand your hurt because Guyanese people, once they put their trust and faith in one person, anyone that speaks out against that person is committing blasphemy. So right now, to a lot of people, a lot of PNC supporters, I should be marginalized because I am committing blasphemy. I have blasphemed against a great leader. But my whole deal is this. Elections were called in Guyana last Monday. Ifran Ali said there were going to be elections in Guyana. All that time from the time those elections were called to now, no one in Guyana has seen Aubrey Norton. They have seen Simona Brooms, they've seen Ifran Ali, they're seeing Azudin Mohammed. He's been the most visual, the most visible person.
Visible. Yeah.
Yep, most visible person. And Aubrey Norton is in New York hanging out with his buddies, getting drunk every day. This is what black people's hopes in Guyana are resting on. They're riding on his shoulders right now, and he is non existent. He's in America having the time of his life, trying to raise money because he don't have any money. Right now, Aubrey Norton has no money to run an election, to run a campaign. He has none. And let me explain something to you people. It costs a lot of money to win an election in Guyana. I'm talking, you need to have at least 10 to 15 million US on hand. Arby can't even pay his employees at Congress Place. He can't even pay the bills at Congress Place. So please tell me, what is there to show you that if you can't even run a political party, how are you going to run a government? You're going to run the government the same way you run the political party? I mean, come on. At some point in time, people gotta wise up and realize that just because you like somebody, that don't mean they're qualified to be a leader.
I want to ask you this question before I ask you about coalition politics. that apparently many believe Mr. Norton has rejected, and many felt and feel still that that's the way forward. That if Norton, the leader of the opposition, the leader of the PNCR, would have, embraced coalition politics and have a consensus presidential candidate, that the opposition would have been very successful in removing the PPP, and we all know that the PPP is at its weakest. But before we go to talk about coalition politics, you made a statement in your confrontation with Mr. Norton and his aides, Egerton David from Linden. Um, you said they have sold out black people. Let's go to this clip before we talk about what your view was at that independence parade in your confrontation with the leader of the opposition. Bold confrontation, I must add.
It's only y'all encouraging the damn. If y'all want to tell us fucking black people like y'all. People like y'all. Hector. People like y'all want to tell us fucking black people. No, you belong. I can be with these. Hold on.
It is people like y'all that want to sell out black people. I see you put on your doctor persona here on this program, and I see a lot of people who are very radical and very outspoken and very, bravado, and on their life they would, project. When they come to this program, they put on that kind of that humble. I just want you to understand that you can be yourself on this program. But we do appreciate that this Hector that we're seeing here, right? This Hector that we're seeing here, it's a good version that people must know. You know what? It's not a brother Hector, but the Hector could get brother, but he can function at any level. But I just wanted you to know that you can be that aspect of you on this program and speak out. You have a wider audience, and you can be yourself and so on. So we've watched that clip, and you talked, you reiterated the fact that it is people like Norton and them that want to sell out black people. Expand on it and give us some examples.
Well, before I go any further, let me explain something to you. I I I I I I treat people the way they treat me. If you come at me the wrong way, like we say in Texas, if you come at me sideways, well then I'm gonna come back with you side. I'm gonna come back at you sideways. I I I have always been taught to give respect if you want to get respect.
Yes.
I am seeing if I become bombastic, it's because of somewhere along the line I felt disenchanted, I felt disrespected.
Yes.
So I just don't just jump out and just want to be making noise and screaming and shouting just to the hell of it. I mean that would be ridiculous. But I just make it known that once you cross me, there's no going back. Now going back to my statement I make about them selling out black people. Let me explain this to you. The position of leader of the opposition in Guyana, for as far as Guyana's standard of living, it's very beneficial. You get paid like 1.5 million Guyana dollars. You get certain
One
bills
one
paid,
point eight.
1.8 million Guyana dollars. So that's almost 10,000 US. You get your light bill paid. You get certain benefits and stuff like perks and benefits as leader of the opposition. All right. My personal view is Aubrey Norton is more concerned about that position, just like his predecessor, Mr. Robert Corbyn. They're more concerned about that position and enjoying the benefits and the perks because they know is no way in damnation that he can be president of Guyana. Aubrey Norton knows he can never be president of Guyana. In his most when he's in his inner sanctuary and he's speaking to himself and he's praying to whatever God he serves, he knows in his moment of solace, he knows that he will never be president of Guyana. But guess what? He can be opposition leader and he can enjoy the perks and benefit that come with as being an opposition leader. And that's why I say he is selling out Guyana because he's looking for himself. And the people that are around him that are encouraging him, telling them no, it's U-turn, it's U-turn, and U-turn, they are enabling the nonsense. That's why I say I said what I said. Because all those clowns that he have around him that are encouraging him with his nonsense, they know, they themselves know that RB can win an election. There is no right-minded, mentally stable Guyanese that believe that RB Norton can win an election. There is no way he cannot win an election. My grandmother has a better chance of winning the election, and she's been in La Repentier since 1997. Okay? It's just not possible. So why aren't we looking at ways to win an election? They saw what happened with Robert Corbyn in 2008. They saw the landslide that the PPP achieved over Robert Corbyn in 2008. Why are you hell bent? Why are you going hell bent at a breakneck speed to repeat the same thing again? That's all I'm asking.
But Robert was magnanimous enough to say, we're going to have a coalition and we're going to have a consensus presidential candidate in David Granger, and the elections were won. And so kudos to Robert for that. Aubrey, it seems, hasn't learned from that. He has no interest, many believe, in putting the country first. The PVP is at its weakest, Hector. The PVP is at its weakest now. Here we have Azruddin Mohammed coming to the fore, gaining a lot of support. Many would have called for Aubrey to engage in a coalition, find a consensus presidential candidate, and he had a perfect opportunity, many believe, in Dr. Terence Campbell, who has the ability to garner finances, who is highly intelligent, who is committed to the cause of liberating Guyana, well-rounded, who's a very person who can unify all opposition, players and so on, could bring the PNC back together, that is now presently hemorrhaging. People are leaving the PNC by the droves as we speak. As we speak, Hector.
Breaking news, Norman.
Yes.
The lady that is cleaning the toilets at Congress Place, she just jumped and she gone with VPAC now. She just
You
said
said
she gone with VPAC.
the janitor gone. Extra
She gone
nature
with
monster. She gone over to VPAC. But we saw the region 4 vice chairman endorsing Irfan Ali. We saw last week the regional chairman of Region 4 also endorsing President Ali. And the beat goes on. I think that many believe, Hector, that Aubrey would have been a great player in a coalition. He would have had extreme power. I think a lot of people respect him still. Dr. Terence Campbell, of course, respected him, and he respects him, sorry. And, he offered to help because the PVP is at its weakest, and he has the wherewithal to get everything done. Nigel Hughes would have said that he didn't mind, having a consensus presidential candidate in Dr. Terence Campbell. And talks ensued, and Aubrey Norton couldn't care less. He just said, I'm going to contest for the presidency. There's nobody behind him. There is nobody in front of him. There is no poll showing that he is has any traction, and so on. And he has a few diehards around him, and they are vocal on Facebook, having people believe that Mr. Norton, I can say this to you, and I don't know if you would agree in this conversation, that If Mr. Norton goes to the polls as presidential candidate, I don't think that the PNC will survive after the elections. I don't think that the opposition will get any seats in parliament and so on. I honestly believe that, and I think that black people are being tricked by the players on social media that is pushing this agenda that Aubrey Norton is popular and that Aubrey Norton has what it takes and that Aubrey Norton could lead us into an election. When you see Barrett Jack Dio is saying, I'm loving having Aubrey Norton. I see Indo Guyanese who are radical on my page who cuss black people out. They say, we want Aubrey. These are signs and indicators that these people understand what Aubrey represent. That even if the PPP was on its face and it goes to an election with Aubrey Norton, the PPP would be standing tall and dusting their clothes off for another electoral cycle. So I want you to talk to us a bit about this whole aspect of coalition, Dr. Terence Campbell. What is happening, Hector?
Well, I'm going to go back to my experience from when I was in the car business. Like I told you, I ran a couple of large dealerships. Um, in the car business, we call what the PNC and what their followers are doing. We call it the smoke package. It's the smoke and mirror package that they're trying to sell to Guyanese people.
Okay.
All right, and the smoke and mirror package is basically what it is. It's smoke and mirrors. There's nothing else involved in there. They're gonna try to BS you into believing whatever they make up and make you think everything is hunky dory and fine. The reason why Aubrey Norton has to hold out to be opposition leader as long as possible is because he hasn't reached certain thresholds as far as retirement. Okay, he hasn't reached the opposition leader perks threshold so that he can retire and ride off into the sunset like Robert Corbin did. Once Robert Corbin got everything that he needed, that's when he decided that he was going to concede to a consensus candidate, right? A David Granger. Aubrey Norton hasn't reached that point yet where he can do that. Now, if you've been in politics for a while and you're the head of a political party that's independent of the PNC, and you know Aubrey Norton's track record, would you hit your wagon to Aubrey Norton in an election?
I have my views about Aubrey Norton, so you know what my answer would be, Hector.
Okay,
And I'm being
all
very
right.
objective. I don't care who say what they want to say or how they want to hit. Aubrey Norton is taking Guyana into a place in which, when Guyana is supposed to rid itself of the PPP, Aubrey Norton seems to be the person that is buffering the PPP to have a chance on their dying bed. And I think that it is God that raised up an Azradin because the PPP is the worst thing that is happening to Guyana at the moment. And if a leader of the opposition can give the PPP such a lifeline and someone else rises up, I think that is an intervention, and that people may very well go for that person. But I want to before you make a point, I want to make this point also, Hector, is that all is not lost for Norton and the opposition. There is still time for that engagement of having a consensus candidate, having a broad coalition, you understand, and taking this thing into the elections.
My brother, too late shall be the cry. It's too late now. It's too late right now. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the groundswell that is being galvanized behind this Team Mohammed deal
Okay.
is something that has never been seen in Guyanese politics before. Now the PPP is going to try to marginalize it and sideline it, and they're going to do that at their own detriment. All right. The opposition in Guyana as it's constituted right now, that is led by Aubrey Norton. I am here right now, and I'm here to tell you that they are going to be relegated to third party status after September 1st. The PNC Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham's party is going to be relegated to a third party position after September 1st. And you can remember that I wrote it. You can tape this and you can play it on a loop every day after September 2nd.
And I
You
agree
will.
that that may be a possibility, but I think you missed my point. I am saying as we speak now, Hector, as we speak now, if Norton becomes magnanimous enough to say, you know what, let us embrace a coalition, let us get Dr. Terence Campbell, you understand, to be the consensus candidate, let us fight this fight because we can take it. You believe that if that is embraced at this present moment, that Azruddin can still create the wave he's creating.
This coalition thing is dead. It's dead. It is. Don't try to beat a dead horse. Don't try to give resuscitation to someone that's dead, that's laying in a casket. Coalition politics in Guyana, especially the way they screwed it up, all right? The only thing left for them to do is screw up a cup of coffee. Coalition politics in Guyana is dead. That's why the AFC has decided that they're going to take a chance, and they know that they're only going to get about 2 or 3 seats, but they're willing to do that rather than hitch their wagons to Aubrey Norton. Because Aubrey Norton and his PNC acolytes, there is no way in damnation that they would concede the leadership in any election to any other
But
party
that's
that
I agree. No, but all I'm saying, if they do now, that's the question I'm asking you.
that's
If
if
no, I
if
know Aubrey will not do that. Understand my position because
mm,
we're talking seriously here and we are on a big platform.
mm,
If Aubrey concedes now in the interest of the liberation of the masses of African Guyanese that want to stay in the realm of an opposition, Mohammed is offering an alternative. Mohammed is fresh, just like Aubrey, you said. Aubrey has more track record than Azruddin. I'm not knocking Azruddin. I'm being very objective because I see Guyanese people can get a bit funny. I admire Azruddin. I believe that the way things are with the opposition and Aubrey not budging, that if Azruddin needs my help, he would have it because my objective is to remove the PPP. I believe that if Simone Brooms needs my help and does what is expected of her, I I I I think she can garner as much seats as possible. But the thing is, and I will not leave her out, but I am a principled person. But I'm saying this, and this is the point I'm making on a serious note, Hector. If I think Hector's gone there for a second. I think he can still hear me. He's calling back in. Sorry, viewers. The point I am making is if Aubrey says right now, tomorrow a press statement comes out and says, Nigel, Dr. Hines, everybody, let's go for a consensus candidate in Dr. Terence Campbell or even Amanzo Walton and says, look, we are going to now unite. We are going to say this is what we're offering. We got the money now, the opportunity to get the money for the campaign. We got a unifier of the party that would bring everybody back into the fold, even the dissatisfied MPs in the party who are just there collecting money, but they're not really working. Because the party is not, there is no election fever. A friend said they went to Congress places, they're there. The PPP is on a mission, and now they are so angry and upset that Azruddin has stepped in because they thought we got Aubrey, so we good, we dying. Adrianna Younge could have been murdered 15 times, and we don't have to do what we're supposed to do to see justice for her. We will win again if we got Aubrey there, and this is a reality. I'm deadly serious. But Azruddin came on the heels of everything, in controversy, as a friend of the PPP that fell out with them, as a person who helped the PPP to remove the coalition and go into office, Azruddin came back over personal difference with the PPP and says, you know what, I'm not going to bow down or beg or go into the wilderness. I'm going to challenge you. And I admire that. I literally admire that. But I'm saying that Azruddin, if you were saying that Aubrey has no track record about leadership in terms of politics or whatever, and never been offered by Granger anything of substance, you have to use the same yardstick to measure Azruddin if a coalition comes into being of experience like Nigel, of experience like Dr. Hines, of experience like Aubrey and others, that now there's a unified position in which the Guyanese people would say, you know what, these are people who can take us into a victory, and so on. That is not happening to Aubrey Norton. He will never do that. He rather to go into an election. I don't care who are upset. He would rather go into an election and get 10 votes and sit there as leader of the opposition. That's where I agree with you. When you confronted him and said, you know what? It's like you want to sell out black people. Let us go to this clip again before you respond. And before we open the lines to talk about, to have people calling. People are scared to call in, so you know what I mean.
It's only y'all encouraging the bullshit. If y'all want to tell us fucking black people, people like y'all. People like y'all.
Hector!
People like y'all want to tell us
Hold on.
And let me say this before I let you come in. A charismatic leader, a leader who is worth his salt, a leader who has experience and the ability to deal with people, a leader who is who's got that touch. Hector, if it were Burnham, with all you said there, you would have ended up hugging up Burnham and going away with Burnham to have a drink with his people. Because that is the... You don't hate the PNC. You care about black people and Guyanese people, and that is why you're angry. Like, I am angry. I get that from you. You know, and in a situation where a leader is charismatic, at that moment, if Norton would have operated differently, says, you know, Hector, I appreciate what you're saying. You have a right to that view. I respect your right to that view, though I don't agree with it. But here what happened? We are intended to fight the same cause. Why don't we sit down and have a drink and talk about this more? Tell me where I am going wrong. You've told me personally. Would you have told me far from walk away?
Well, first of all, if Forbes Burnham was the leader of the opposition, or even if Barrett Jaggio was the leader of the opposition, and I have to add this caveat, Barrett Jaggio has been the greatest leader of the opposition ever in the history of Guyana. Hands down. You got to give Jackie Jacket. Even Chetty Jagan was not as good as an opposition leader as Barrett Jaggio was. All right? The main reason why an Azruddin Muhammad is so popular right now and so many people are following him is because the PNC, and by an extension the leader, Aubrey Norton, created a vacuum
Thank you.
that allowed
Yeah.
Azruddin Muhammad to spring up with his popularity. Because you know why? People flocked to him because there was no other opposition leader that was standing up for them in the face of the People's Progressive Party government.
Agree.
So that's why, listen to me. You know who created Azruddin Muhammad? Aubrey Norton. Let's call a spade a spade. Aubrey Norton, because of his lack of leadership, because of his lack of visibility, he created the boogeyman that is Azruddin Muhammad. All right. So when Aubrey Norton and his people are now talking about Azruddin as Sharma 2.0, Let them keep thinking that this is Sharma 2.0.
It's not Sherman
All right.
2.2.
This shows you the intellectual, the intellectual laziness of these people. Okay, that is this is the best explanation that they can come up with. All of these PNC clowns, all of these Aubrey Norton enablers, this is the best they can come up with. It's Sharma 2.0, and that's it. So basically, what you're conceding is, and as you can tell, let me tell you something. If you look at this, go back and look at the statement that the PNC released a couple of days ago, sometime in the week, where they are already fighting the referees instead of them fighting their opponents. They're already fighting the referees. All right. I coach little league soccer. I coach basketball in Korea and all this stuff. When I know my team is gonna lose, when I'm taking an inferior team up against a superior opponent, you know the first thing I do as a coach? Start trying to intimidate the referees.
Yeah.
That is coaching 101. That is preparing for a loss 101. You start fighting the referees. If you were a capable opposition leader, there is no way that you will be going into election saying we're gonna contest this election, but we don't like none of the rules, but we still gonna contest the election because we don't want the PPP to have a super majority. That's a concession speech right there. Go back and read the speech that the statement that they released. That statement that they released is a concession speech. Okay. Now people are asking, what do I know about politics? I was a campaign aide for House Speaker Tom DeLay, okay, for 3 years, former House Speaker Tom DeLay. There are not a lot of people that are fond of him, but you know what? He was an astute politician. And being around him those 3 years, I went into 2 elections with House Speaker Tom DeLay. And I will tell you this right now.
1 second. There's a caller on the line. Caller, you will have to call back in 5 minutes because I'll open the line in 5 minutes. My guest is still speaking. And definitely call back in 5 minutes. The line will be open for you guys to call in and give your views and question the guest. But everybody would be narrowed down to less than 2 minutes in your question and comments because we want to take as much people as we can. Thank you, but please do call back in.
No problem, man. Sounds good.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Hector, you're already having callers. You're already having callers, man.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that want to
But
come back.
go
What
ahead
I'm
and
saying.
make your point. But there are
Yeah.
people who
But
want to
what
agree
I but
to.
what I learned from being around Tom DeLay was, okay, is the most important thing is you never give the opponent the feeling that you think you're gonna lose. You never give your opponent that feeling. And the PNC slash APNU have already given those vibes out. They've put it out in the atmosphere. Their leader, their followers, and everyone, they're thinking, oh, we can't win because this election is gonna be rigged against us or whatever, whatever, whatever. Because you do not have an established leader like the PPP had the Barajagio previously that is out there fighting every single day tooth and nail. From the day Donald Ramatar lost the election back in 2015, Barajagio's sole purpose, his sole mission was to make sure that whoever he had chosen to be president of
Yes,
Guyana was going to become president. And every single day he got up, and that was his only mission. That was the only thought that went through his mind. How am I getting back into State House? Right now, we have an opposition leader that is the furthest from his mind because number one, he doesn't have the finances, he doesn't have the resources, and he
He
doesn't
doesn't
have
have
the
the interest.
talent.
The interest. I
Not only
don't
the
think he
interest.
may have talent, but he doesn't have the
No, 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 no,
interest. I
no, no.
believe
I am
Aubrey
not
can
talking.
do.
Hold a second.
Yeah,
Hold a
go ahead.
second.
Go ahead.
I'm not only his talent. He has a little bit of talent, but when you have a little bit of talent and you're surrounded by people that have zero talent, Aubrey Norton is surrounded by people that have listen to me. They have zero talent. They
No,
have
no.
not put together a proper campaign. They have not done anything. They got caught with their
Hector,
underwear.
you can't say that because on this program you can't. I'll tell you why you can't say that. Dr. David Hines is in coalition with Aubrey Norton. Dr. David Hines Dr. David Hines is one of the finest scholars, one of the brightest politicians that you could see
Listen,
today. Oh, let me finish. Let me
Norman,
finish. I'll let
no,
you
no,
continue.
Norman, I said in the
In the
PNC.
PNC, okay, good, good, good.
I am not
You got
questioning
no,
Dr.
but
David Hines.
you got Ganesh, you got smart people in the PNC. You got
Ganesh, listen
Coretta
to me.
McDonald.
Ganesh, listen to me.
You got
Ganesh
smart
is a role.
people.
Listen to me. Listen to me. When you have a basketball team or you have a football team or anything like that, you have your superstars, you have your main players. All right? Ganesh Manipal is not a superstar. He's not a political superstar. He's a role player. Ganesh Manipal is somebody you bring off the
But he's a
bench when
player
you.
in the PNC,
Yeah, yeah. But
and that's what we're talking about.
if you have a political party that is relying on people like Ganesh Manipal to be the forebearers and at the front of the party, then you have a political party that's in trouble.
Okay,
I
you
hate
have,
I hate
yeah,
I
yeah,
hate to
yeah.
song
No, but
I
you
hate to
have a
song
right to
like
your
this.
opinion. Yeah, you have a right to your
Okay?
opinion.
I hate to song like this. All right? I hate let me ask you this. All right? Let me ask you this. Ganesh Manipal is East Indian. What does Ganesh Manipal bring to the table? I'm just asking. I'm
I
not trying to be a dick. What
I
does he bring to the
I
table?
can answer that question. I think he brings to the table a commitment to see the PNC win the election. I think he brings a commitment to pushing back. Oh, let me finish. You asked me a question. You're not supposed to
Go
ask me
ahead.
questions on my program, but I'm allowing you today. You understand? That's a cardinal sin. You're not supposed. But I'm going to answer you. I believe when everyone would have been leaving, Ganesh stays. Ganesh is not a dunce. Ganesh is brilliant. But all I'm saying, we have brilliant people. Nima Flew Best. We have Coretta McDonald. We have Christopher Jones. Bright people, but they are not motivated to work. They're not motivated to work because Aubrey Norton is not the finest leader in the PNC. And is it? But
So,
look, hold on. Wait, let me hold on. We have in the PNC a brilliant mind in the person of Amanza Walton, and no one can question Amanza's ability. The problem with the PNC is that there's serious division, and no one wants to put their shoulder to the wheel because the leadership is in question, and we have to face that reality. And to have a leadership that gets its own people who are non-entities in politics, to jump on social media to cuss everybody and to just praise the leader and say follow the leader and call everybody the worst dogs, that fight this struggle, that stood up for Norton, that put Norton where he is, that literally brought Norton from the dead and put him where he is. You can understand the leadership of Norton, that he can take people who cannot even rationalize that the likes of Norman Brown and others are the people who have made it possible for Norton to be where he is today. And that is the wickedness of such a leadership, that now you are making people believe that we're anti-PNC, we are anti-blacks, we are anti-this and all of that. And that is unforgivable. But people have a right to say what they want to say. Hector, we're going to go in a minute into
let's
questions,
take some
and
calls.
but I want to ask you one more question and for you to sum up what you want to sum up before we go into the next segment. Your thoughts on Dr. Terence Campbell and the possibility of what he can do in this short moment if he is seen as a consensus, if he's taken as a consensus candidate, if he's given the opportunity to turn things around. Your thoughts and whatever other points you wish to make. And then we go into the next segment, which could be Ragamuffin.
Well, as far as Terence Campbell is concerned, I was the first person that advocated for a Terence Campbell candidacy. I can't hear you.
I was the first person, and you came after. I remember when you endorsed him, but I was the first person. But
Okay,
there's no
good.
argument in that. But go ahead,
Well
go
then,
ahead.
if All right, good. Well, then let me correct myself. I was among the first people
Yes,
that
good.
advocated for Terence Campbell. Maybe I didn't advocate it out publicly because I was speaking to Terence privately about it, and I was gauging how he felt and stuff like that. And he would have told me on quite a few occasions to ease up on them kind of talk because he didn't want to seem like he was ruffling feathers.
Yes, yes,
And,
yes.
and, and but
Yes,
you
yes,
came out
yes.
and I guess you came out and started ruffling feathers, and that's when I guess I would have joined in.
Yes, yes,
Terrence
correct.
Campbell, Terrence Campbell is a good man. I have had the chance to spend some time with him. He has a good heart. He is well intentioned. Okay, but I'm gonna be quite honest with you, as a friend of mine, and I was with Terrence yesterday, and like I said, I've been around him before, and we spent some time together. This is not a Terrence Campbell battle.
Whose battle is
This
it?
right now, after everything that I have seen right now, for Terrence Campbell to be effective, Terrence Campbell needs a running start. Okay, he just can't get up to the vault and just jump over it. He needs a running start. He's got to build momentum, and this was something that we have wasted precious time in
But
in
but
in uh, in, in
but,
not
did
affording him
David
that
Granger have
momentum.
to build momentum? I'm being guided by
That's
history.
exactly
Did David Granger
that's
have
what
to build?
that's what
But
I'm
that's but
saying.
that's it's not what you're saying.
You
You
can't.
are in a coalition. You choose someone, and that someone is there with a
It,
team.
it's too late, Norman. It's too late.
Ah, good, good.
It's
I respect your point that you're saying it's too late. I don't agree with it, but I respect it. But go ahead, go ahead.
it's too late. In my ideal candidate, to be quite honest with you, and that I was advocating a long time now, was a Terrence Campbell, Azruddin Muhammad run. That's what I've been advocating for the
So
longest
you're
time.
advocating for Azradin now.
Well, I am going to come out in your program right now, okay, to your millions and millions of viewers and all that stuff, and I'm going to tell you that I am endorsing Azruddin Mohammed to be the next president of the Cooperative Republic
But
of
I
Guyana.
got news for you. I got news for you, and I'm going to
Mhm,
bring it out on my program. If the confabulation of the opposition remains as it is,
mhm.
if it remains as it is, and Azruddin Mohammed approaches me and asks for the support, I will give it to him. Let me make it very clear. Let me say it on
Mhm.
this program now. This program is big tonight. It's your program. Let me say this. If the opposition confabulation remains as it is at this moment, Nigel Hughes there, Aubrey Norton there, no sense, no traction, no gumption, no nothing. There is no elections to even dent, much less to win. And I want to see the PPP, and the world knows I want to see the PPP go. If Azrodin approaches me, regardless of what anybody says about the US and sanctions and all the things that they're saying about it, if he approaches me and asks me to help him to get there, I will. I will. I would have done it also for Simona Brooms, but that's another story. But if Azrodin asks me, I will. And I'm glad that you said what you said, and I'm glad that you drew me out to say what I'm saying here on this program. The intention is to remove the PPP. And the intention is also to work with, we have to have a Guyana where African and Indians work together and we rebuild that trust. I don't believe that if Azruddin is given an opportunity, regardless of what people say him, about his past or about whatever, putting on a presidential cap and being supported by all, I believe that he would be committed to do better because of the PPP's worse. And so I said it
Well,
on this program. But I still believe that a white coalition could happen, a Big Tent could come into play, that Dr. Terence Campbell could come forward. We could have a Brooms and everybody coming forward that can be supported. Outside of that, I will say this to you. I will support Azradin if asked. Go ahead.
well, this is my deal here, right here, because I was one of the first people that was. I know this for a fact that was in opposition to an Azharuddin Mohammed candidacy I was opposed to it. Okay, but when I started doing some homework, because as a teacher, as a former teacher, I always tell my kids to always make sure you're doing your homework, and don't listen to everything I teach you. You got to go out and learn for yourself. You got to do your research. So I went out and I did my research, and I did a lot of research, and I took it on myself to make contact with the Mohammeds, and I've been in several, in many conversations with Mr. Shell Mohammed, and then Azruddin Mohammed. I and there was a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and there were certain concessions that had to be made to get me to endorse you, for me to support you. There's certain concessions, and as you can see, one of my main concerns is that my race, my brothers and sisters, are not sold out again, and we are not taken for granted, and we're not marginalized. So there were certain concessions that I had to feel safe knowing that these things were going to happen. Now, once I felt comfortable with that, and once I realized that Terrence Campbell was trying his best to get everybody together, and I realized that it was not happening, that's when I realized, you know what? All right, I don't have to think about what's beneficial for me, because whether the PPP wins the election or whether they lose, it's not gonna make a difference in my life. It's not gonna make a difference if Barry Jagyo is the president of Guyana for the rest of his life. It doesn't make a difference in my life. But what it makes a difference in the lives of my fellow Guyanese that live in
Guyanese.
Guyana.
Yeah, agreed
Okay,
again.
it makes a big difference in their lives. And if I claim that I love my fellow Guyanese, whether they be Indo Guyanese or they be Afro Guyanese, all right? And I want you to understand that there's a lot of Indo Guyanese that are suffering under this PPP government. A lot of them. And they are sick and tired of the BS also. All right. So what I decided was what's going to be the best thing for my people. And that's why I decided that I was going to throw my support behind Azruddin Mohammed. Okay. Because the one thing I love about Azruddin Mohammed is if he's screwing up, I could pick up the phone and call him and say, Bana, you're screwing up.
Point
Okay.
taken. Yeah, point taken.
Bana, he is one of those guys. Let me tell you something. And take my word on this. Take my word if you don't believe anything I've said to you today. He's one of those guys you can call him, say, Bana, this thing looking good. We got to do something here. You got to change this up. Don't say this, say that. Don't do this, whatever. And trust me, he is very receptive to everything.
Let me say this to you, and let me respond to you quickly, because I want people to understand me clearly as a black activist for almost 30 years and fighting the struggle for black people. Black people can hurt black people, and black leadership can hurt black people more than even Indo-Guyanese hurt black people. You understand, in general, and that's my position. But here what I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to make it very clear, and that's why a lot of powerful people went to the PPP. That is something I will never do. If the PPP offered me $500 million, I would not go with them. But let me say this to you. Let me be very honest. I have to be very straight in speaking to my people. I don't believe, and I wouldn't bullshit Azruddin Mohammed either. I don't believe Azruddin Mohammed is the finest cut of a person. But I believe that his experiences in moving into politics could tailor him into somebody that can adapt. Let me finish. That can adapt. I believe that Azruddin has been a part of an elite group that didn't care much about black people. I think I've criticized Azruddin for allowing Guyanese critics to talk about black women in that sort of way. I believe that Azruddin Mohammed, like many Guyanese, would have capitalized on corruption and hustle and all that. I believe that Azruddin is all that. And I would tell him that it is. Because one of the things I would say to you is that I am not going to go into any alliance with anyone and they believe that I'm saying to them, I got you, I got you, I got you. I will tell you how I feel about you, but I say, you know what? Let's have a commitment to work together and allow me to be a voice and a player in ensuring that there's some sort of balance. So I'm not somebody coming and working with you to help you to get somewhere because black people are following you now. I didn't tell them to follow you, but they're following you. Amerindians are following you. Indians are following you. You are in a place and you're saying the right things. You're helping people. The philanthropy is great. But if I am going to deal with you, I'm telling you straight, brother, I think that this is who you would have been. I think that you have space to correct certain things if you're going to become a national leader. I believe your experiences with the PPP would make you a better person, but don't believe that I will not discuss with you openly that this is who I think you were, and let's move away from that. A lot of people go around the Mohammeds because they want things and they bow to them and they don't tell them the truth. Black leadership in Guyana would have failed black people miserably in politics over the years, including, to a lesser extent, the Granger administration. But black people has never seen the light of day from since independence to now as a mass of people under black leadership. You understand? And the PPP made a mistake in using black people as window dressing. Like, you know what? We're going to take a Mark Phillips, we're going to take this, we're going to conveniently use black people for that. It's nonsense. It's wicked. It's wrong. Now, Azrael Mohammed is coming fresh. He's saying he wants to be this. He wants to be this. You see, let me say this before we open the lines and before you make your final comment before we... Let me say this to you. I would die for black people in the black struggle. And I would never compromise if I align with anyone else. I would never compromise the right for black people to be given what is due to them. You understand that? I would never compromise that. And that's why I would never join the PPP. But where the PNC is dead, and I'm saying it clearly as a black leader, where the PNC is dead, we have to find an alliance to remove the PPP. I did not give Azraddin that traction or any, anything of sorts. But I would join him to fight the struggle to remove the PPP and to help to liberate all of Guyana. And I think my point is very clear. Hector, I want to go into the open lines where people can call in. But if you wanted 2 minutes to say what you want to say before we open the lines, that would be fine.
I'm just gonna go back on what I said about Azraddin Mohammed. No. Sometimes you gotta take the imperfect mold and mold it into perfection, right? Azraddin, he's not perfect. He's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Mate's new number.
He's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. However, all right, if somebody could take Ifran Ali, who graduated from the University of
Mate's new
Iceland,
number.
if they could take him, the only person to ever graduate from the University of IFLAC, and they molded him into being a president. If Donald Trump, the biggest idiot that has ever stepped into the White House, that has ever sat behind a resolute desk, could have been molded into a president, well then things are gonna look kind of promising for Azraddin. Now, what Azraddin is going to need around him is a proper team. Right? He's got to have people that are qualified. There's been a brain drain on Guyana. There are a lot of qualified Guyanese that have left the country because of the nonsense that's going on with the PPP and there's all the shenanigans and stuff like that. If he can recruit those people back into the country and surround himself with people that are talented, a coach is only as good as the talent.
I think he intends to do that. But let's take this caller, Hector, and we'll go back to the conversation about Azraddin. As we go along, we will, because I want to ask you about Simona Brooms, and I want to ask you about the situation in which Brooms would have had a footing in the grassroots, in the ghettos, that she was doing long before Azraddin was interested in doing these things, that she was doing it, and black people may feel slighted in the sense that Brooms was doing what on a smaller level, what Azraddin is doing now, whether she deserves it or not. But we have to open this thing properly and have this discourse, and we have in it here today. Let's take the caller. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. Thank you, Norman.
State your name
I
and where you're calling from, please.
so I'm Richard, and I'm calling from the diaspora in New York.
Okay, go ahead.
Born and raised Guyanese, school in Guyanese, everything. Are we know what? Do we know what we're up against in terms of statistics? Do we know the demographic of people? Do we know the age range of people that we're against? In terms of electoral colleges, in terms of electoral bodies, vote communities, I really don't think. I think the PNC is completely clueless to that demographic.
Wow.
Because the Guyanese demographic has completely changed. It's now about 85% of Guyanese is below 45 years old. So Aubrey Norton doesn't appeal to 85% of Guyanese. Let's just say that straight out of the door. 25 of Guyanese are those traditional Guyanese that be fighting the battle in bar and machete days. So the tactic that this guy Aubrey Norton is using, he's using all playbooks to appeal to a completely changed demographic. So he's already fighting a losing battle. The only person to lead the PNC is Amanza Walton Nazir. She appeals. When she speaks, she makes your pores raise when it comes to the opposition. She's a young person, and she knows the emotions that are driven by these young people in society. Look at the party. Let's do some parallel. Look at Donald Trump's election. He always say, I'm not getting rid of TikTok because I believe it's the young people that put me in power. You know what I'm telling you? And the PNC is not appealing to the young people. That's for the PNC. I'm of mixed Guyanese, black and Indian. And to be honest, I always detest the PNC. You know why? Because they never seem to appeal to the young people. Given this Adrianna Younge situation, I've always been a PPP supporter. I will never be a PPP supporter no more. When you could sacrifice the life of a minor and turn your backs on a family and make this family seems as though they're in a different illusion, brother, listen, the blood and the tears of that family fall on everyone that went against them. They will feel hurt and wouldn't even know why they're hurt for the rest of their life. You know what I'm telling you?
Yes.
And let me tell you why Muhammad. Right? Muhammad is running straight through the door, bro.
So you're endorsing Muhammad?
Yeah, of course. I'm endorsing Muhammad because you know why? The guy appealed to young people. He appealed to the pain that Guyanese feel. You know why? He's going through the pain. He's going through the struggle. Forget about whatever money he have. He is going through the pain, and guess what? Norman, you building out a new economy, right? You got 800,000 people. It's only 100,000 people really and truly can have contracts. What happened to the next 700,000 people that you're trying to fool and tell them, oh, look at this building that I built. Look at this road that I built. Bro, listen, that's not paying my bills. That's not changing my life. That's not changing my family. You're not empowering me. You're empowering 100,000 people to be your stronghold that will make that 700,000 people believe as though you're doing something for them. You're talking about, cash grants for kids. Brother, listen to me. Social services for kids you don't even talk about. That's not even points. You know what I'm saying? That's not even points. You should be doing way more than that. Let me tell you, if Mohammed's telling the people of Guyana, every month you're going to get 100,000 deposited into your account, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Nobody cares about PPP and you building this building and all of these things that you're doing. Listen, that's what's supposed to be happening in a thriving economy. It's not like you're doing something, you got some special magic wand that you're making this happen. You're not making
a person in the comment section said you brought tears to their eyes. So you're saying something, but you got 1 minute to wrap up or to ask our guest a question.
Listen, Nature Boy can tell you in America you don't play with minor. Jocelyn Nungary, bro. You listen to me. You do not play with the babies out here, bro. You know what I'm telling you? And Jack Leo and Air Finale.
They play with Adrianna.
Bro, listen to me. They put that little girl up on a cross, and only Jesus is supposed to be on that cross, bro. And they turned their back on that family. Let me tell you something.
Wow.
That situation is going to flip them in government. And Aubrey Norton, bro, listen, he is irrelevant. So I don't know what the hell he's doing in there in the first place. He's not speaking to no kids out there. He's not speaking to no 18-year-old, no 20-year-old, no 30-year-old. So y'all best get that dude out of there, get serious, and let's flip this thing.
Thank you so much, caller. Look, someone said you made tears come to their eyes, and you've made your point. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
before
on.
I go, before I go, listen to me.
Did you have a
You know,
question for the guest?
Nature Boy, he's on his thing already. He's on 100. He know what his mission is. But I got something to tell the people of Guyana. Listen to
Yeah.
me. This whole black man and coolie man thing, we got to talk to WPL leader. Brother, we not on that politics no more. I'm telling you, we about progress for the people. How your pocket feeling at the end of the month. We need to follow.
No, but you can't say that. I can't agree with that on this program. I'll tell you why. The WPL leader, David Hines, is speaking to the pain and the real oppression of black people in Guyana, and that is real up to today. So you can't say yes to get to the point. I will not accommodate that on this program, but you're going good otherwise. I would not have anybody say to any black leader who stands up for black people, whether they join with Mohammed or not, to say that you have to get to the program to join with Mohammed, you got to give up your view on the black struggle or whatever. I'm not going to agree with that. But go ahead.
My point is, bro, we're one Guyanese.
No, we're not. We're not. The reality doesn't speak to that. We are striving to be that, sir. Don't listen to me. We're striving to be that.
Norman, the people, I'm speaking on behalf of the people. I'm not speaking on behalf of how it's politically categorized.
No, but it's in reality, politics determine your economic, social, and political realities. So the point is, and I want to make this clear to you, if you are going to want to strive for unity and embrace this thing to make a new world, you can't say that. You can't say Hines got to forget about that or whatever. Hines is fighting a struggle that is real. I am fighting a struggle, but I can say I will go with Azradin over Aubrey because it's not a racist thing. It doesn't make me think like, you know what, I gotta stop fighting the black people strike. I gotta say to Azradin, you know what, I'm going with you, so you're Indian, so I can't seem to be standing up for black people. Then you become Mark Phillips in the PPP. You become Todd in the PPP and all of that. But you have 10 seconds, and then we'll get another caller.
Norman, I think you completely missed my point there.
No, I did not.
Okay, my point is we shouldn't be talking about Dongo support in this village. The people need liberation because they're suppressed by the leaders. The people are united. The people bleed red, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just that we got to know how to reach these targets. We got to know how to reach out to the people. We got to know, that's my point.
But I agree. We have to strive to build that unity, but the unity is not there. Thank you so much, caller. And I will have you back on this program if you want to come on. But I respect your view. Thank you so much for being here.
For sure, man.
Can I address that? Can I address that real fast, Norman?
Yeah, go ahead, Hector.
As far as he was speaking about, he made some good points. The point he made about the cash grants and stuff like that. I if you listen to the speech that Azruddin made when he announced his candidacy, and from some conversations that I would have had with him, he is leaning in the direction of where every Guyanese on a monthly basis should be collecting some form of payment from the Natural Resources Fund.
That's a political projection, and that's not what we were talking about. But go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
That is not a political projection. That is my belief. And this is something this is a belief that we both share. This is not politics. Norman, I'm telling you right now.
I didn't say it was politics. I said it's a political projection. It hasn't happened yet. I believe Azruddin will do it. But to understand, let's get to the higher level. I am not disagreeing with you,
I'm telling you, but I'm gonna take the liberty. I'm gonna speak for Azruddin Mohammed right now. I'm gonna take the liberty of telling you, all right? And he will back me up on this 100%. All right? He is going to be looking for a way that every Guyanese on a monthly basis shares in a payment from the Natural Resources Fund, because that money belongs to Guyanese and they are entitled
and
to
I don't disagree with that, but the point I'm making to you, it's nothing wrong to say it's a political projection. As already saying that because he wants to do this to Guyanese, he's running for the presidency, and he's saying what he's projecting. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's not going to do it or not. I'm saying it's a political projection, and it has to be put in that context.
Yes, well.
Aubrey could come out tomorrow It's a projection. It's no reality yet.
Aubrey, Aubrey,
Aubrey could come
Aubrey
out,
doesn't
hold
have the
on, man.
guts.
But I'm just saying, he could still come out
Yeah.
and say, if he get government tomorrow, he gonna beat Azradin at what he's offering. These are political
Mhm.
projections, and we understand that. I think Azradin is genuine because in his quest to become president, he is actually giving people things that are meaningful. There are black leaders who don't even want to give people who are ready to help them a small amount that is meaningful to them to help their cause. And that's the failure of black people. That's the point I'm making. Azradin has to do a few things right now. He has to open his door to people he feel don't like him or he perceived them as not liking him in the past. He has to open his door to social media influencers like us to talk to us, to come on our programs, and to not to be in some context like Aubrey Norton. I'm a billionaire, so I don't have to talk to Norman because I'm talking to Travis Chase, and Travis Chase is the biggest thing in Guyana. As a politician, you got to talk to everybody. I said, and I mean it, I'm open to helping him and endorsing him. But I will not change who I am. But if I give you a commitment and I say we're going to work together and these are the things, the conditions or whatever, then I have no problem in helping you because I believe that Azradin could do more than the PPP for Guyanese in general, and that includes blacks and Amerindians. The PNC has killed itself and has no interest in representing black people. That is where we are at the moment. Callers calling now as we have this discourse. Don't be shy to call in. Hector Nature Boy will take your questions and so on. But go ahead, Hector. Give your view.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but like I said, this is something that I would have had conversations with Azruddin with. Now let's go to this deal here about race and the role it plays in politics in Guyana. This whole race thing was brought into play by a white lady from Cincinnati, Ohio. That was not even Guyanese that came to Guyana and brought the race deal into play. Her name was Janet Jagan, and she was the one that brought this into play in our country. Before that, we didn't have that issue. So what and there are generations that have been brought up on this race play deal. But what I want my Indo brothers and sisters that are suffering in Guyana, especially when Az went to, I saw when he went to, what's the village bar from? Unity. When he went to Unity and you saw some of the poorest people in Guyana live in the village that Barajag you came from. All right. I want my Indo brothers, my Indo Guyanese brothers and sisters to know y'all are suffering just the same way that the Afro Guyanese are suffering. There is no difference in whatsoever in how y'all are suffering. Sufferation is sufferation. Sufferation don't no color, race, class, creed, or anything like that. And what you guys have to understand, all right, that you have a presidential candidate here, whether you're black or whether you're white are not white, whether you're black or you Indian, he is gonna wake up every day with thoughts on how he's gonna make life better for every one of you. It doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, because I know for a fact he's gonna surround himself with some strong black leaders, not strong house slaves. He's not gonna surround himself with house slaves that are just in there to benefit themselves and enrich themselves. He's going to surround himself with strong leaders that are going to be looking out for the interests and the welfare of not only Afro Guyanese but Indo Guyanese. We have to draw a line in the sand, and that's why I'm supporting Azuddin Mohammed, because I know for a fact. I don't want nobody come and tell me. I don't want to hear no nonsense about, oh, they used to do that and they used to do this and they used to support PPP and they used to do whatever. Donald Trump used to be a Democrat. Donald Trump used to support abortion. Donald Trump paid for a few abortions himself. Then he went and put together the court that abolished abortion. Okay? So please here. All right? Spare me the he used to and she used to, whatever. All right? Let's discuss about what we're gonna do going forward to make Guyana a better place. Can't hear you, Norman. Can't hear you.
Good, good. Let me.
There you go.
We just got another guest coming live. Keith Henry. Keith Henry. Can you hear me, Keith Henry?
Loud and clear, brother.
Okay, welcome to the program. You are on the program with myself and Hector Nature Boy Stoute, who is my guest. I'm accepting people via video and via calling in. You are here via video. Welcome to the program. And I hope Hector will welcome you also. Give your view.
I'm a bit disappointed at what's going on in the political arena right now.
Okay.
Honestly, you know, I've been watching you for years, and when you stepped away from supporting the PNC, I must honestly tell you that hurt me to the core. I respect your opinion. For you to take that step, it had to have taken a lot for you to do that.
Certainly.
But it still hurt me to the core, and I would like to see that support come back. I'm looking at the whole Azuddin Muhammad stuff that's going on right now, and it's kind of reminding me of Pablo Escobar. You know, when he became a philanthropist, when the Americans was coming down on him and certain things was going on. So it gives me that reminder. I cannot say that, oh, just go full-fledged off of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to jump in and say, oh, I'm giving Azuddin Muhammad my support and all that type of stuff. I can't do that. He have a right to run, but I can't say that I'm giving him my support.
Why is that so?
Continue.
Why is that so?
Oh, like I said, it's at this juncture. He jumped into the game late. I also do have the memory of him being, profiting from the PPP for years. A regime that's been oppressing my people for years. And when I say my people, I'm not just speaking about black people. I'm speaking about African Guyanese and Indo-Guyanese, because that's part of my background. So I'm speaking across the board. He was in support of that. But mostly I would say oppressive of the black Guyanese. So it's for me to just come in now and say, because I'm seeing all these nice things and all that, to say, oh, I'm supporting Azuddin. I can't do that. And it hurts me to see what, I know you have your opinion of Aubrey Norton, but I think at this juncture, we really shouldn't be pulling him down more.
But I don't think that giving objective views would be constituted to pulling him down. But go ahead. I respect your position.
Okay, I dig that. That's how I feel about it. I feel the things that's going on in social media when they're saying he is not presidential because of how he looked, he's not presidential because of this, because of that. Like Hector said.
Okay, good.
At this point, at this moment here, the leader of our country, the so-called guy that graduated from IFLOT University, if he could become president, if the PPP could make that dragon the president of our country, how dare us tell the world that we cannot make one of our leaders, such as Aubrey Norton, the president of our country, if he is there. That's just my view on it. If he could become the president, my dog could be the president.
Well, Keith, I will say this, but I allow Hector to respond. I would
Yeah.
say this. The question about Aubrey Norton is not a comparison with Azradin or Irfan Ali. It's a
Mm.
comparison with liberation. And if you will recall, and I like what you said, because I respect and admire you, honestly, I do. If you
I
will
appreciate you.
recall, I have been exclusively behind bringing Aubrey Norton from being a rejected politician in the PNC to bringing him to become the leader. But there was a mandate.
I
And the
absolutely,
man,
I agree with
I'm
that.
saying it. I don't care what nobody say and how much they cost me. My conscience is clear.
No, I
I
saw that for myself.
good, but I want to make it clear for the sake of this program. And I respect you,
Mhm.
and I respect Hector, and I'm going to say this that bringing Aubrey Norton from nothing in the party, relegated and despised, and all of that, working to bring him there was not because I liked Aubrey Norton, it was because I believe he had what it took to change the course of the direction in which the PNC was going after we lost power on the Granger, and that he had a mandate. He wasn't just brought there. You bring Kate a guy to your house, but you didn't bring this guy to your house to sit down on your couch and enjoy your TV and talk to your woman and whatever. You brought him to fix the bathroom.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I want people to listen to me today. Aubrey Norton came off of the back of my struggle single-handedly for the purpose of accomplishing a mission. Not only did he not accomplish the mission, he was not interested in accomplishing the mission, and he was not even interested in the people that saw him get where he had to be. These are facts that can be proven before the world. But I will stop here. When you see, and you said it, you didn't say I was upset. The art of language is a powerful thing. You didn't say I was
Yeah.
disappointed with you, Norman. I was upset with you, Norman. You know what you said to me, kid? I was hurt.
Yeah.
You know why you chose those words? It came from a place of
Abs-
expectation and love. It came from a place where
Yeah.
you recognize a man's struggle. So you weren't disappointed or upset or angry. You were
No.
hurt. And that is why I respect you, because you chose the right word. I can't knock you on that. You were hurt. But you could imagine the pain I went through to see what transpired after Aubrey become leader. But we will have another show and we will continue. But go ahead. We have to continue this conversation from your perspective, and you give your views and Exo respond. And we have this
No,
conversation.
Hector. Oh, yeah. Let me.
You
Something
just
that
make yeah,
happened.
yeah because you were disagreeing with what Hector said, and he would be allowed to respond. But finish your point so that he can respond.
Something else that happened at the event yesterday. You showed it quite a few times. Um, I disagree that the way that Hector handled that situation. You know, running up in the leader's face and doing it in such a way. You know, we understand that Hector have certain grievance against him, and he wanted to express it. I don't think that was the way. I don't think that was the way to do it. You know, he. I don't know that situation just rubbed me wrong. A lot of people from the other side seeing that, and they're smiling because that's what they want to see. And I don't want to see my people express those things publicly. If we have a if we have an issue with Aubrey, let's deal with it inside. A lot of our issues, I think we're taking it to the public, and the PPP want to see that. They're using it against us, and it's definitely working because it's showing like we have no unity. It seems like we are the Judas race. We're always willing to pull each other down, and when it comes to those guys, they're dealing with their stuff inside. We're not
inside.
knowing what's going on
And
unless somebody leaks.
let me allow Hector to respond to that, but I just want to say this quickly.
Yeah,
Unity is a two-way
yeah,
street. Inherent in the term
absolutely.
unity is two coming together. If the leader doesn't have any interest in genuinely uniting, it would be wrong to ask the people to unite with something that doesn't want to unite with them. That's not unity. I just wanted to make that point. But this is a discussion. I understand, and I would have gathered from the past, and maybe you guys can iron that out here on this program. I'll give you the opportunity that there have been previous differences between you. But there's a professional talk at the
Yeah.
moment, and Hector has a right to respond to the things you disagree with. Hector, over to you.
Well, first of all, I had a former assistant commissioner of police that was standing next to me. I had some business leaders that were standing next to me, some very important people in the Guyanese community that were influential people that was standing next to me, and everyone to a man will tell you I did not go in Aubrey Norton's face. One of Aubrey Norton's lackeys decided that he didn't like what I had to say, and he decided he wanted to become an upstart, and I went after him. At no point in time did I go after Aubrey Norton. Am I right or wrong? At no point in time did I go after Aubrey Norton. I went after one of Aubrey Norton's minions. So those of you out there that have this narrative that I just went out there and just was attacking Aubrey Norton, that's not what happened. And everyone that was out there would tell you that's not what happened. That is the furthest from the truth. It was one of his lackeys that had an issue with a letter that I wrote about Aubrey Norton, and because of the simple fact is that Aubrey Norton was giving me the eye because he was in his feelings, and I responded to him, and his lackey jumped up, and that's the lackey that I was dealing with. If you watch the video clearly, you can see what's the guy name? Egerton David.
Percy, is that
His
his name?
name Sevens. That's who I was dealing with. That was who I was engaged with. At no point in time, because I got RB Norton number. I got two numbers to RB Norton. RB Norton got two numbers to me. Anything I can say to RB Norton in private is what I can say to him in public. So this narrative out there that I'm going after the leader, I'm being disrespectful to the leader. If you don't know the full context of what happened, I respectfully ask that you know
And go to the point where our brother Keith said that jumping to support Muhammad, and he disagreed with your stance there too. How do you respond to that?
you know I spent the majority of my adult life shedding blood. I've been blown up. My arm, you see, my arm was blown up. My chin was blown up. I got gunshot wounds in my arm, in my hand, and all that stuff. I spent the majority of my adult life defending everyone's right to have an opinion. So just because my opinion is different to yours, it doesn't make me any better or any worse
Of
than you.
course.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and that's all I'm going to comment on that.
Over to you, Keith. Over
I
to you,
mean,
Keith. Yeah.
He's 100% correct. I mean, everyone have a right to their opinion. But I was from looking at the video. That's what I gathered. He was definitely, disrespectful to the leader, and it should not have been handled that way, especially in public. We were not there for that. We definitely were not there for that. About a little while after that, Hector and I even got into something that should not have gone down.
It's one of that is.
And
But tell me, the two of you have had previous differences, isn't it?
Hey, Norman, you didn't bring me on here to discuss
No,
that.
but because he's raising that, but we're not going to
Listen to
discuss
me,
that. We're not going to discuss
Norman,
that.
Norman. You did not bring me on here to discuss that. We are
Go.
here to
I
discuss
got you.
politics and
I got you. I
okay.
got you. So go ahead, Keith. Go ahead. Because Keith was raising something. That's why I'm trying to let the public know there's previous
I
differences.
can't.
But that's
If
fine.
we're
That's
not gonna
fine.
discuss
That's
what you
fine.
brought me
That's
on here
fine.
for,
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna
That's
respect.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Keith.
All right. Good.
now, like I
Deal with the
said,
politics. Leave the personal differences out.
yeah, let's do that.
Mm.
I stand on what I stand on. I'm still gonna, throw my support at this juncture behind Aubrey Norton.
Oh, you
I don't
supporting
think I
Aubrey?
think it's time. Yeah, I
And why
think
are you
we
doing that?
definitely should.
Give us your view for doing that.
I think he put in the time and energy, and I really think he deserves that shot. Even though, the young man that called earlier said, Guyana is a young people
Caller,
place and
hold the
this and that.
line. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
Guyana
Keith.
is a Yeah, he was saying Guyana is a young people place, and I can't disagree with that. But I definitely feel at this juncture, Aubrey Norton deserved that shot. This is not the time to make the changes. The change, if we were going to make those changes, it should have been sometime last year.
But I want to ask you, what did he do during the time he was there to deserve the shot, to push the PPP back, to deal with GCOM, to do things that can prepare us to stand a chance of winning an election. He's pushed back coalition politics. He believes he can go there and win. The reality on the ground is not the same as 10 people on social media writing and saying that he's the best person. But let's just take this caller, Keith. Hold the line. Let's take this caller, and this caller may ask yourself and Hector questions. Caller, welcome.
No.
Okay, good evening, guys. My name is Andrew Qualis.
And where are you calling from?
Calling from Maryland, United States.
Welcome, Mr. Qualis. Go ahead.
Okay, I've listened to you guys because a friend of mine said to me, Andrew, I think you need to listen to this program today because there's a guy that's going to be on the program that we saw yesterday that it was a little bit disrespectful, okay? That being said, right, I think we all know that Africans, black people, they're not a monolithic group, okay?
Okay, good.
Everybody has their own opinion about who they think should
Wonderful.
lead and what the politics and what the politics should be. Okay? And that is your right. That is your right. But I think that at the end of the day, when we're going to make some a conclusion on a specific issue or a specific project, we should take the data into consideration and then make see what projection we got and then make a decision. I saw a straw poll.
Hold a second.
Hold on. Hector, let him talk, and then you'll.
No, I want to make a point before he goes further.
No, but let him
Okay,
finish. You hold the point and let him finish. He's going to finish soon, and you hold the point and respond to him. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Because listen to me, I'm not seeing you guys. I'm calling from my phone. I'm in front of my computer doing some work, but I'm calling from my phone. So I gotta switch to WhatsApp and speak on WhatsApp without seeing you guys. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So let me finish and then I'll turn and listen to what you have.
What you gotta say? Yeah.
To respond. Okay. No. There was a straw poll that was on Facebook yesterday. And I checked the results this morning. The results said out of 600 to 800 persons that voted on the straw poll, Azruddin Mohammed had, I think, 200 or close to 300 and something votes. Second.
Sound.
I can't hear none. You hear anything? You getting the problem here?
I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you.
Okay, because I wasn't hearing anything. I ain't hearing nothing he's saying.
I'm hearing Hector, but I'm not hearing Norman.
You hearing me? You can't hear you. You having technical difficulties, bro. Norman, what's going on? You pay your bill? Norman, you're on mute. You're on mute. Let me talk to you in sign language. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Let me talk to you in sign language. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Let me talk to you in sign language. You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go, Norman. Whoever you ran the system from me, must be a
Uh,
metapin.
Yes. Yes.
yeah, the PPP is messing with the program, but Andrew, go ahead. Sorry for that short break.
Okay, sorry about that too, guys. Like I was saying, I think when we making concluding stuff, we should look at the data. You understand? Because so far, I don't think anybody has pulled up a set of data that shows that okay, this we got it in ourselves that okay, this guy is not pulling the people that you think he should pull, or you make some bad moves that you don't think he should have made. I'm not in agreement with everything that Aubrey Norton has done. I'm not in agreement with everything that Nigel Hughes or David Hines has done. But you know what? I think that here is a time. This is the most consequential election for Guyanese people. Okay, with the Venezuelan and Guyana border issue, with people coming into Guyana, Venezuelan coming into Guyana
Sorry.
without immigration reform. We have an election where, in the first time in the history of the country, that you're having money in the kitty so that you can develop. So I think there is need for a unity. And when I saw the clip with excuse me, Nature Boy, as he's being called, I'm saying, here is it. I'm looking at Akim's Jeffrey on stage, and I'm seeing three burly looking white guys with their, and I know it was Secret Service right there, and Aubrey Norton was free enough to walk between his people. I'm saying, why we have to do
Andrew,
this?
because people are angry, I don't agree with the emotional position. And now let me say this, and I'm sorry to cut you, but let me say this to you. People are angry and disappointed in a leadership that they feel has sold them out because the PVP is at its weakest and they haven't seen any evidence that that leadership shows us that we can repose confidence in them. This issue of black support, regardless, is something I'm not going to buy. You have to prove yourself in times of trouble, and I don't think Aubrey has proven himself. I walked up to Leslie Ramsamy in the I Commission, and it went viral. But is a black man confronting an Indian man from the PPP? When a black man confronts a black man, we get emotional and say, you know what, we shouldn't do that. We're washing our dirty linen. But if that black man is undermining the struggle, this is a man Jagdeo wants to run for the election because Jagdeo know he has no support. He went to Linden and nobody came out. When they asked the young people, who is Aubrey Norton, 90% of them did not know that. You need to get the facts. But let me go to Hector before I bring you back on, Qualis. I will not take you off. Let me go to Hector and let Hector give his view. Then we go quickly to
Okay.
Keith. And Hector, don't be long, so we have to have Keith. And then we have to have Qualis back on.
Okay, good. First of all, I'm going to say this, and this is going to be my last time mentioning this. This is going to be my last time. So whoever wants to take this and run with this, y'all need to stop. There was no confrontation yesterday between me and Aubrey Norton. So whoever talking about disrespecting this and undermining this black man or whatever, there was no confrontation at any point in time between myself and Aubrey Norton. If I want to have a confrontation with Aubrey Norton, I can pick up this phone right here, and I can call him. Okay. As a matter of fact, I can show you this right here. Let me show you guys something. You see this right here? That's me and Aubrey. Okay, the night before his birthday. That's me and Aubrey the night of his birthday. Okay, that's me and Aubrey right there. I was one of the people that convinced Aubrey to run for the leadership of the PNC. So when y'all talking about this confrontation that me and Aubrey Norton had, that is non-existent, y'all need to stop. As you can see, Aubrey Norton was going about his business. I did not speak to him and he did not speak to me. So please stop with this narrative about me and Aubrey Norton having a confrontation. If you don't believe me, ask former Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Paul Slow. He was right there, and there were some very influential Guyanese that was right there also. So please stop with this narrative. You know, yeah, it coming like somebody want to see me plug out now just for the hell of it. That's what it's coming like right now, and y'all need to stop that. Stop running with this thing about you disrespecting the leader like I disrespected Kim Il Sung or some goddamn Kim Jong Il or something like that, or Vladimir Putin or something like that. Y'all come out with this narrative. Stop it. It's stupidity. Me and Aubrey Norton did not have any form of a conversation yesterday. It was that lackey, that clown that he was with, that I had a confrontation with. And I made sure that even when he walked away, I went behind him to finish talking to him and let him know how serious I am. Because you know why? It's people like him that enable Aubrey Norton to think that he can win the presidency of Guyana when he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell.
Okay, let's
So
go
get
to
away from this narrative.
let's go to Keith, and then let's get Andrew to say his final piece, and then we have another caller. Andrew, can you hear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Keith.
All right. I'm gonna end with this. We don't need to have selective energy. That's all I need to say. We don't need to have selective energy. Um, I stand on what I stand on. I'm gonna continue to support the leader right now because I truly believe it's too late to be making these changes. Any other time I probably would have had a different opinion, but at this juncture, I don't think this is not the point to be changing leadership. You know, I don't think that's gonna work. I think that's going to be counterproductive to what we want to do, and that's getting the PPP
Well,
out.
let me ask you this question quick, Keith. Do you think? Let me
Yes,
ask
sir.
you straight. Do you think,
Yeah.
honestly, the way things are at this moment, that Aubrey Norton can go into the elections as presidential candidate and win it? Let me ask you
Yes,
this
I can.
question. Hold
I
on,
think
Andrew.
if
Hold on.
I
I'll
think
come to you now.
I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear the speakers?
No, I'm going to go. I can hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, good. No, go ahead, Keith.
I think the same energy that we're giving to other folks, if we would have been given that to Aubrey, even though we may want to say he's this, he's that, if we were giving him that same energy and that same upliftment, I think we would have had I think it would have been it would be successful. Like I said, Norman, I am hurt. I need you. I need you back here. I saw how it started. I saw how you did it, and I'm confident that it's something that you could do again. This is why I'm so hurt at the move. You know, I'm not disappointed in you.
No,
Definitely
you
not.
and
Not
I
mad.
agree. I respect
Definitely
that a
not.
hundred. But here I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say
But
this to you.
I saw how you brought him from one point. I saw you brought him from here to there, and I'm confident that I'm truly confident you could do it again.
Let me say
That's
this
why
to
I'm
you.
so.
Let me say this to you, Keith. And I am glad you said. Let me say this to you. When power is had, the real colors of people come out. And you have to evaluate as a kingmaker whether this person is worthy to be king in the interim. You give them the opportunity, but it doesn't stop there from your assessment of them. You see, the role we play in this struggle is not just to anoint a black man because he's a black man. We have to anoint someone who is capable of taking the liberation struggle. Now, ingratitude, my mom told me from a very young age, is worse than witchcraft. And you and I grew up at Linden, and I know we are Guyanese too, that if you made a friend that you see is bona fide, you're going to school together, you're watching your back, you're doing everything, you trust, you give you everything. When you get your bread, you give you half. You understand? And
Right.
you find that you don't even know when he gets his bread. In fact, when you give him your bread, you can't see him. I want you to understand this because this is very serious. And I say it because I mean it. If anybody, and I'm using your words, in politics hurt me, it's Aubrey Norton. And you know why it hurt me? You know why it hurt me and brought tears to my eyes? Because people warned me, and it wasn't politicians. They were grassroots people who dealt with him that warned me. And you know what I said? I can give it in the newspapers. I got all the evidence. It's in the newspapers. The writings are all there. I said, if a man deserves his turn, give it to him. He has been rejected by the party. The stone that the builder refused shall be the head cornerstone. He has been relegated to the dustbins. He's been in the party for so long. The people said to me, Norman, it is not the reason. That is not the reason why these people kept Aubrey out for all these years. And I say no more. Let me say this to you. It was grassroots people that called me and said, don't do it, Norman. And you know what I said? One, a man deserves a chance. Two, given the chance, he could change. Like we talking about Muhammad. I said, given the chance, he could change. You know the first thing Aubrey did when he got the leadership? Stop talking to me. I ended up trying to call Aubrey as God is my witness on my children's life. And I swear I'm a child. Everything the people told me is what Aubrey. No problem. I pick up the phone for call Aubrey. When I text Aubrey after calling me, the blue tick comes up. You understand? When I send a message to Aubrey, he drop a one-line answer. I can't explain, as God is my witness on my children's life. Not only that, I didn't look at that only because it's not about me. I feel that if you curse the bridge you cross, if you curse the hand that feeds you, I talking Blackie. When these people talking the nonsense, Kid, you would never accept somebody on the street doing that to you, brother. Or in New York, you give a man applause. God is my witness on my children's life, and this is politics. We have to speak the truth. Listen to this. I said it's not about me. We got work, and I was defending his brother still. You understand? I said I was hurt, but the bigger picture we have to look at, is he capable of delivering on the mandate? Now, you give a man the money for come and fix your bathroom. Because you and the man, all right, you and the man drink couple beer, the man buy you 2 beer, whatever, you get the man the job over everybody else. Because of how you and the man deal. But the man come for fix your bathroom, and the man still watching TV all the time. You say, man, but I pay you for the fix the bathroom. How are you going to react? You understand what I'm saying to you? And this is Aubrey Norton. It is not, let me tell you something, Keith. And let me tell you this. You're talking about unity and black people shouldn't do whatever. Let me tell you this. If Aubrey Norton had stayed the course with the person who put him there was nobody that could have stopped Aubrey from being the next president. You hear what I'm telling you? You talk about hurt. And I'm not an emotional person. But I said to myself, I give you the mandate. And the echoes of Lincoln Lewis and all them people, since I was in my 20s, the echoes of what they said about Aubrey came back into my ears. Everybody can't be wrong about you. Aubrey Norton could have gone into that party and united. It wasn't the fault of the people. It was his arrogance and attitude that made us fail. He will not be president. He can't be president. He has no support. And I will never, as a black person, support a black person who will not be able to win any elections. It's a waste of time. It's emotional. And it's nonsense. Hector, over to you. Qualis, you there?
Yes,
Make your point. Come, you're a guest here. So just say what you want to say in a minute, and then we get Hector, and then we deal with it. Because you just come on for a minute, innit?
Yeah. Okay. I've listened to you, Norman, and Nature Boy, and the other guest that is there, and I'm realizing that, okay, here is it that you have the best chance, right, to get the PPP out the door simply because of all the atrocities, the discrimination, and everything we could talk about. Unfortunately, I've listened to Aubrey Norton in 2022, 2023, 2024, and one of the things that he always tried to mention is coalition politics. Remember one night I listened to him on David Hines, and fortunately now I can see him and David Hines collating. I don't know, I'm not a political scientist, I'm not an intellectual, I'm a guy that has some common sense, you understand? I've seen politics from outside for the longest while, right? I've listened to speeches and heard a couple of guys see a lot of maneuvers from politics.
Make your point. What's the point you want to make? I hear what you're saying. I know you know what's up.
Yes, I'm saying that here is it a time that you have this great opportunity. Why is it? And I'm not speaking about black. I'm speaking about people who are concerned about the development of the country.
Who are those people? Who are you talking about, Andrew? Quickly.
Everybody. I'm speaking about the Aubrey Nortons.
Aubrey Norton doesn't concern about anything, and that's where I disagree with you, and I will have to cut you. Listen to me very carefully. The Barra Jagdeo wants Aubrey Norton to be the presidential candidate of the PNC. Because he knows that it's a win for the PPP. Andrew, you stop sinking your head in the sand, brother. Aubrey has failed miserably by his own deeds. How could I give... Andrew, you know me as a little boy in the front line. How could I give almost 30 years of my life in a black struggle? And I'm saying this today, brother. You think I would mislead black people? Anyway, I'll have to bring you back on and make a point quick. Make a point quick.
But I'm saying to you, Norman, the Nigel Hughes, the David Hines, the Terence Campbell, the Azharuddin Mohammed, the Nigel Londons, everybody is speaking the same or speaking from the same.
Oh, you think everybody should come together?
Of course.
Oh, I got your point now. But not under Aubrey. They don't want to come under Aubrey because it's the presidential candidate people look for. It's the presidential candidate appeal to people.
So instead of everybody bashing each other, why don't we sit down and have an agreement?
But Aubrey rejected it. Nigel Hughes gave in. Nigel said, listen, let me take a consensus candidate outside of us because the people might have a problem with us. They said, let me go for Terence Campbell. Terence Campbell was the best thing. He could find the money. He could do everything. We were on the path to remove the PPP and everything. So what you're saying is that Aubrey is the person who rejected everything. Why he rejected it? Andrew, we will have to bring you back on a program sometime in this week where you're coming on with us. And we can have the conversation. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Back to Keith and my brother, my strong brother, whom I did not disagree with and still do not disagree with for his action outside of the parade, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I want to.
Norman.
Yeah.
Norman,
Turn your thing down.
Like I said before, there was no.
I'm getting a feedback.
It's not coming from me.
It's all y'all refer to the same thing. If y'all want to tell us fucking black people, people like y'all. People like y'all.
Hector.
People like y'all want to tell us. You belong. I can keep it easy. Hold on.
People like y'all want to sell on black people. You didn't go there and cuss Norton personally. You said to Norton what you felt about the agenda, and it was to sell on black people. Go ahead.
Norman, hold a second. I said that to Sevens. I did not speak to Aubrey Norton.
But Aubrey
Not
Norton is the
no
leader of the
point in
party.
time.
Aubrey Norton is the leader of the party. Sevens
Okay,
is not the leader.
listen to
You
me.
were speaking to
Listen
Aubrey.
to me.
Go, don't let me play.
No, I was not
Yeah.
speaking to Aubrey. I was in a confrontation with Sevens, and I told him what was on my mind. I told him that they were enabling
Keith, you're
Aubrey.
breaking up. You're breaking up. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Hector.
so if that is some kind of offspring, people thinking I was attacking Aubrey or I had a confrontation with Aubrey, I am sorry that there's a lack of intellect going on here.
You attacked him and you had the right to attack him. But that's no wrong attack. That's
No, no,
activism.
Norman, no,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
that. You
no,
don't have to
Norman,
agree with
you
me.
get
That's activism.
Norman,
Let's
don't
take
set
the
the
next.
narrative.
Let's
I can't let you set the narrative, Norman. Don't do that. I can't let you set the
go
narrative
ahead.
to
Yeah,
please
yeah,
him.
yeah. Go ahead. No, I'm
No,
not
no,
pleasing
no, no,
myself. I'm not pleasing myself.
no,
Let me
don't do
bring
that,
Keith back
Norman. You
in.
something bad.
No,
Don't do that.
Hector. Let me say this quickly. Because we having a down to earth conversation.
Yeah.
Is Sevens the leader of the opposition? Let me ask you. Just answer yes or no.
No.
Hold on a minute. Don't say nothing else. I want Keith to hear me. When you walk up there to the group and you say y'all selling out black people. Hold on. Don't say nothing. Hold on. Who
Just
is
want to come.
tasked with the liberation of black people? Is it Sevens? Sevens is a donkey. Yeah, I telling you, and I saying it on this important program. Like go straight because I got two friends here. And none of the two y'all can't war because when y'all with me, this is a serious program. Here I can tell you. Sevens is a washed up donkey from since the 80s that was regional vice chairman under Sandy. And Sevens used to thief all the money that they go for buy things. You know, they do the expedited thing where they go and buy goods and everything for the party. Seven used to thief the money because one of his best friend who used to do the thing with, he told me that. I mean, the man is friend still. Sevens is a washed up person that when I brought Aubrey back, Sevens come and start playing important again. Sevens is never sober. Never sober. You know what I tell you? So let me say it on this program. Sevens is a donkey. I didn't say donkey. I didn't say donkey because that would be offensive. I said donkey. It's a donkey. Here I tell you. Sorry about that, viewers. This is Ragamuffin. You got Hector on this program. You got Keith, my beloved brother. I recall
Well,
quick. Hold on.
let me add.
I
Can I
recall.
add to this, please?
Yeah, you will.
Let me
I
add to
recall. Let me
this.
just say this quickly. I recall when Keith's father died, and I watched the brother's emotion, and I called him. Keith answered his phone. I sent him a message. He responded. Am I making it up?
Nope, no, you're not.
Thank you. And I say I couldn't call Aubrey like that. You
Listen
understand?
to me.
But Hector, go ahead.
Let me tell you something. One of the points that Sevens tried to make to me yesterday that he's been in the struggle longer than me, and seeing that we're going out and we're dealing with this Sevens case now, Mr. Sevens, we name where we
Just
name
say donkey, man.
Sevens.
Just say Linden
Never,
donkey, and you're good.
never
I know your files. You are an alcoholic. You are a candidate for AAA. You, sir, you were walking around yesterday. Y'all talking about me disrespecting the leader of the opposition. You walking around with the leader of the opposition with a glass of liquor in your hand. If you guys look at the video, he had a glass of liquor in his hands. Hennessy and whatever he had in his hands. Y'all talking about me.
Anyway, let me go back. Let me go. You make the
No, no,
point.
no, no,
But let me
wait.
go back to
Hold a second.
semblance because we could
Let
go
me finish this.
ragamuffin, but it's a
Let me
serious
finish this.
program. So let me go
No,
back to
no, let me
semblance.
finish. Let me finish, please. This banner, you walk around with the leader of the opposition. And to make it clear, I did not approach them. They approached the group that I was standing with. They came to us because Aubrey was walking around looking for people to acknowledge him because he was walking around and nobody in heaven's name knew who the hell he was. Okay? So he was looking for acknowledgement and he approached the group that I was standing in, which included a champion Guyanese singer by the name of Kapashanti and a former assistant commissioner of police, Paul Slow, and they will both tell you to a man, amongst other people, that he approached us. And then Sevens, in his ignorance, okay, started opening his mouth, and that's why I addressed him and I said, it's y'all fault that this man running for president, y'all enabling him, because this man can't win no election. That's exactly what I said. And
Uh,
that's where the
and
confrontation
let me say
started.
this. Let me say this before I bring Keith in, because we're going to go back to a normal conversation before we wrap up. Viewers, you can still call in to ask Keith a question and to ask Hector a question. But let me say this, and let me be very clear.
Yeah.
I know what oppression and denial is. I have fought this struggle for a long time, and I know the culture of my people. I've never blamed them for it. I've never blamed them. I understand the culture. A man call a man and say, what do you think about Keith? And the man say, you know what, I think Keith is a jackass. That is what the man going with is in his interpretation of Keith. If Keith was supposed to get a Benz from the man would say, no, he ain't giving Keith the Benz. I understand the culture. People call people to find out about somebody. But you know why I don't forgive? When we present ourselves to the world, it's no longer a hidden objective. A man is seeing you and he's seeing your soul and who you are. I see in Keith, I seen Hector, I seen David Dines, I seen Aubrey, I seen everybody, Mohammed and everybody. So now I hearing them and I seeing them. It's not in the days when it didn't exist. So now you can't come and tell me that Keith is where a clear baseball cap, because I don't see Keith wear a New York cap. So your narrative don't mean nothing no more. You're serving your own agenda. So the thing is open now. So when Aubrey and those guys done what they did recently, people never forgive them. I'm going to tell you this. I'm a controversial person, but I've made it on the social media platform and everything. You know why I've made it? Because whether the narrative is negative or positive, people are attracted to it. The conversation ensues in which what you think he said, is it right or is it wrong? Whether they believe it's right or wrong, the attraction is there. And that is important. Keith, over to you.
Oh man, you're giving me a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, go ahead, but you can talk. Yeah.
Now that you show that video so many times, I want to say indeed, Hector I didn't see him actually engage Aubrey Norton. He did engage Everton. That was the only
Thank you.
person he engaged.
Thank
So
you.
let me,
But,
my apologies on that.
but Hector, you shouldn't be rolling up your eyes. A man is saying something positive about you because he's all vibe, you roll up your eyes. Say thank you. But anyway, you know what's the love? You know what the love
I
is?
don't need no apology. I don't need
No,
no
but the man
apology
apologized. That's
because
you're becoming
I
Aubrey. You're
know what
arrogant
happened.
now. You're
Listen to
arrogant
me,
now.
Norman. Listen to me. Like I said before, everybody's entitled to their
To their own
opinion.
opinion. But
Everybody's entitled. So if somebody want to believe that I boxed Aubrey Norton yesterday, I can't convince them. It's like a bee trying to convince a fly that honey is sweeter than shit. If whoever,
but
whatever you want to believe, so be it. I'm not mad at
but
you.
you're right.
I
You're
am not
right. You're
mad at
right.
anyone. Huh?
But one has to have the grace in differences. The beautiful thing, when we talk about unity, and I'm putting in context, when we talk about unity, this is what's happening here. Because within the deepest of divisions, you guys come on my program. You understand? And there isn't the war, there isn't none. And you know why I like Keith? And I've always liked Keith. But you know why I don't reach out to people? Because the perception of me is not me. When you take a public persona on, you have to understand that a perception goes before you. That you become something that people can handle, use, pass it around without you being present. So when you take on a public perception, a man could sit down on a bus and talking to another man and say, we want to say about you. So it's not something that you could avoid. But what I want to say is this, and I want to make it clear to come back to the position because I brought the program to what I wanted it to be. in this normal raw talk where we ain't got to speak officially and all the kind of stuff. I can dance
Right.
above the, you understand? We could talk raw, and I'm glad it's gotten to this point. Let me say this to you, and let me be very pellucid. There is nothing in my life that is more important than for me to see the liberation of African Guyanese. Understand that? I spent 30 years of my life in that struggle. When I decide to walk away from my own, caller, welcome to the program. Make your point.
Good evening, good evening, good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Now,
You have 2 minutes, caller, so please make your
good.
name
Okay,
and
yes.
your and where you're calling from, but you got 2 minutes,
Sounds
I
and they
am
can respond to you.
Rondalin, and I'm from Denhamstel, Guyana, South America,
Yes.
Rondalin.
Run the lane.
Now, we have got to, but deciding all the things, we got to kiss our frog. And if we continue to go down this road, nobody would have respect for us. I think that it's time that, the time is short, but we should all try to get to a table and come to one recognition. And when we do that, I think we'll be able to make a way forward. Because as it seems, we're in a brand new faucet, a sink waste or a bathroom waste that has no plugs in it. And we are fastly heading
Rhonda, I agree with you, and I respect you as one of the greatest activists in Guyana right now. But I'm going to say this to you.
absolutely.
I am not kissing any frog that doesn't have a pool. And I mean that. The frog is not in isolation. You see, we can't say these things. We can't fight. Let me tell you what I have put my struggle on as a young man growing up and have the passion for the liberation of black people. Let me say to you quickly. We've been out of power for 23 years. Nobody examined why we were out of power for 23 years, We took our leaders for granted. We kissed them all the time. It's until we came of age and became revolutionary, the Mark Ben shops. I got to call Mark name no matter if me needs fall out. The Mark Ben shops and other people who came out and were objective, that we realize that the struggle is bigger than what we think it is. 23 years out of power, and it wasn't because the party against us was stronger. It was because we were weak and we took black people for granted. Black people sell out black people. Black leaders got a legacy and a history of selling out black people. I will not in this struggle, Rhonda, and I promise you, in my struggle, allow any black leader to sell out black people. And if the people love that leader and they have no reason to love him but because he's black, so be it. I respect you, but I gone. I will not be a part of the downfall of my people. And let me tell you this. If Aubrey Norton goes into those elections, I am the political pundit. If he goes into those elections, the PPP will be stronger. And Adrianna will never get justice. I think you heard it there. Keith, over to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rhonda. I'll bring you on the program this week, and we will talk better. Thank you so much.
All right.
Keith, go ahead. Everybody fall off the program. Let's take a short break until they call back in.
Norman, are you hearing me?
Yeah, you're back, Hector, yeah? I think Keith and yourself bump off. I think Keith is calling back.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you there, Keith?
I'm
so
here.
why can't I see you guys? I'd left. Okay, Hector had right.
Yeah.
I don't know what is happening. Come on, guys. What y'all doing to me, man? Yeah, let me come down here. Let me go back up there.
Hard.
Okay, good. So let me get you, Hector, right? Keith left. Good. So we having this conversation and we have some extra time to allow people to call in. What are your thoughts, Keith, about what Rhonda said?
I agree with her.
You agree with her? Good.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with her. But Norman, do you absolutely believe that it's impossible for Aubrey Norton to win this election?
I am telling you as a friend, as a black man to a black man, if Aubrey Norton goes into those elections, it's the worst betrayal of black people, and I mean it. I would never do that to black. I would never make a sacrifice. Hector, you're getting a feedback there, man. Don't spoil the program. I would never betray my people. I rather my people turn against me for what I say, but I don't want them to prove it. And that is why I said Terence Campbell. That is why I said a Grand Coalition, and that's why I said a big tent. You understand? If they don't want to call it, because the importance is to remove the PPP. And Mohammed has come on board, gain traction from black people. Mohammed can stop the PPP because we are not doing what we are supposed to do. So I'm saying I'm going to follow in this struggle, not follow a leader, follow in this struggle to remove the PPP, Mohammed. So I will stand with him as a representative of black people, not as a second to him or anything, but as a fighter to remove the PPP. But you will have to deliver. That's my principle. Because we are going in to win. The first thing you have to do is win. I am not spending 23 years out of power romanticizing anybody. It is not a mistake. I will make it an Hector. Go ahead.
I really need to sit on.
We're waiting for the next few callers and we're wrapping up in 10 minutes, yeah? So we're going to tie everything up in 10 minutes. It's now 2 hours 41 minutes. We're not going to go over 3 hours, so please call in, people. Don't be shy. The program is ragamuffin. You don't have to feel that you're scared to talk on this program because your A's and your R's are not correct. But, caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, hi. Hi, good afternoon, Norman. How are you?
Good afternoon to you.
Vashti from Canada. Good afternoon.
Vashti from Canada. Welcome.
Yeah, Vashti Magnat. Yes, I always watch your show.
Vashti. Yeah, good friend. Go ahead.
Yes. Glad to see you guys. But here's a spin I have. We need a president that issues that are facing the people, they can deal with you. Say for myself, like how I call you, I can be able to call the president when I tried everything, the local people, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like right now, let me give you an example. I'm Indian, my husband is African Guyanese. He's there, I have some land issue. The neighbor moved my fence, a fence that was there over 100 years.
Yeah.
Right? He went to the police since the end of February. My husband is there suffering. Today I had to call the commander, and that's when the police came. So imagine that. And, because, my husband is saying, why you guys break my fence? All this black man this and black man that. Like, that got to stop.
A lot of racism.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a president who's going to look into these things and look at...
Who do you think that president is going to be?
From what I'm looking and see, I would say I love Apostle London.
Wonderful. You said you love it. You see, Apostle London got a forward there. You understand? So that is it.
I love Apostle because he is a go-getter. He don't make joke, and I love him for that. He's for the righteous.
A big up for Apostle London on this program. A good friend of mine. A wonderful human being, a person who got integrity, and so on. And so, thank you so much, Miss Magnat, for that contribution. Keith, and then Keith, and then my brother.
Yes.
Go over to Hector. I'm a bit.
Hector, come on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What you got for say? You ain't got nothing for say?
No, I am lost for words. I am lost for words because but the one thing that I love is that the Guyanese people have such a buffet of people that they can choose for.
But they have a right to. They have a right to that too. Just as you have a right to yours, they have a right to that too. Yeah.
And I think the more people that get into this race, as in opposed to the last time when all those third parties were PPP henchmen that were hired to hijack the vote, I think this time the people that are engaging and have come forward, I think they pose direct threat to the PPP. And I think either way it goes, I think whoever wins the election is going to be a minority government. That's
I
my
don't
belief.
think so, but I agree that your position might be plausible. But I honestly do feel it's plausible. But here I'm going to say, in wrapping up now, because we have to go back to semblance in closing, to close on a good note. Keith and Hector, coalition, consensus candidates, what are your thoughts at the last minute?
No coalition. No coalition. Go at it on your own. No coalition. I as an advisor to the Mohammed campaign, I'm saying no coalition going on. That's what I'm
Keith,
saying. No coalition.
Keith, what are your thoughts?
I feel it would be productive to us to go as a coalition because with all the oil money that the PPP is using to their advantage, I think the only way to win this election is for us to coalesce.
We can't hear you clearly. Something is feeding back in the background. Hector, I think is your thing, you know.
Yeah, that's
No,
Hector.
it's not me. It's not me.
Oh, it's Keith. Keith, turn down your way, you got there.
I don't have
It's not
anything on.
me.
Let me see. Maybe it's
No,
my
we can
AC.
hear you
Let
now.
me
We
check.
can hear you now.
Okay.
I get no feedback from Hector, man. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
I'm getting the feedback.
Yeah, I get the feedback. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I am
Um,
on mute. How
I
you gonna
think
get
it would
feedback
be.
from me?
Go ahead, Hector. Go ahead, Keith. Go ahead.
I think it would be smart. It would be wise for us to go in as a coalition with all the money, the oil money that the PPP is throwing around. I don't think a single party would be strong enough to go up against them and come out victorious in this election. So it would be wise to coalesce.
It would be wise to call it. So you don't think that Mohammed himself can go up into this election as a single party
Absolutely not.
and think. Keith, your
Absolutely not.
response to that. Sorry, Hector.
Absolutely not.
Hector, your response to that.
Mohammed is going by themselves. They have the money, they have the resources, they have the team that is being put together as we speak. No coalition. We don't need no help from nobody. Thank you, but no thank you. We're going by ourselves. We got the money. We got everything. Don't forget, if it wasn't for the Mohammeds, the PPP wouldn't be in power right now. They financed it. They financed the election. So if they can finance the money to put other people in power, they can finance the election to put themselves in power. Don't forget that. Okay? They don't want no coalition. They don't go in with nobody. They're going by themselves. Because you know why? Guyanese people don't want no old politicians no more. They don't want the old people, the old faces no more.
We're closing now. We definitely closing now. But let me ask you a question before I ask both of you about Adrianna Younge and justice for Adrianna Younge, and that's it. But Hector, wait, you attack Aubrey because of Mohammed?
No. That's got nothing to do with it. I attack him because he made me have to leave what I wanted to go to an alternative route because of his selfishness, okay, and his hubris. That's why I decided that it was time to jump ship. Because you know why? I want win. I want a ring. I want a championship. See, I playing LeBron. I ring chasing. That's what I'm doing. I am ring chasing. I want to win. I don't want to settle for second place. I don't want to say I know the opposition leader. I want to say I know the president. I jump ship. Me gone.
Hector Nature
Anything
Boy
thing the
there.
right, me gone. Me gone.
Keith, your comment, and I will ask you guys one more question, and then we'll wrap up. Keith, what are your thoughts?
Listen, as within maybe walking the streets of Guyana, he's getting a lot of love. He's, if you go to different villages, the people are coming out and treating him like a king. But that's not how the election is going to go. It's not going to happen. Indeed, he was very influential in financing, partially financing the PPP's win. But now he has to do it on his own for his own party. So it's a different dynamic. And I could
But I know the
promise
team
you, if
that's getting put together right now.
But the evidence is showing he's ahead of them, and the potential is there to beat all of them. Go ahead, bro.
no, we're going to speak after this election, and I promise you, he is not going to win that election alone. He has to
He has to
compete with someone.
coalesce. He has to coalesce. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Gentlemen, I like Hector. Come on, Mark. Hector, turn that thing down, man. Come on. I know we can't get to, and we bring the program to get to sometimes, but turn it down. But listen to this. Let me say this to you, and we are closing on a good note. Justice for Adrianna Younge.
Yes, so speak on that.
We want to end on that. Justice for Adrianna Younge. We know what happened. We know that the PPP covered things up. We know that the Guyana Police Force covered things up. We see that injustice that may be the catalyst to bring the PPP government down. But let us briefly talk about what transpired and the assault on the psyche of Guyanese in that murder, I would say, of an innocent child. How did you react to it, Hector? How did you react to it, Keith?
Well, as a father that has two daughters in Guyana, it I got hit with a dose of reality because that could have been one of my two daughters. I have two daughters that go to the pool. They love going to the pool. They love going to the pool every weekend. They stress me out about it. Every time they get good grades, every weekend they do this spelling test and they get 100. They want to go to the pool. So I'm imagining one of my daughters being in that position. That's all I can think about. And I can't fathom the thought to think that one of my daughters could have been where Adriana is right now. And that's all I can say about it.
Keith?
I just, I thank God. I thank God. I wish we were, that her parents were here under better circumstances. But as a parent, especially as a father of two little girls in Guyana, my heart cries. That's all I can say.
Keith, Adriana?
Um, the whole situation was it brought so much anger to me. To how it started with the entire cover up by the Guyana police force and the continuous cover up now by the government of Guyana. But let's not forget something. Aside from, I mean, we need we have to get justice for Adriana. But we need not forget about the two brothers that got murdered in Linden.
Henry Boy.
Because I'm
Oh, yeah,
realizing
the
this
Linden ones.
overshadowing that, and that is kind of getting swept under the rug. So let's not forget those brothers.
Brothers, too.
But
Wow.
we have to keep the energy up when it comes to getting justice for Adriana and these two brothers. Her parents are here, and I'm happy to see what's going on. They're getting their due. They deserve that. The PPP is very disrespectful, and as you said, I think this murder might bring some changes to this election, as it did
It will.
when they took out Courtney Crum Ewing. So I cannot wait to see what's gonna. I think this is gonna Adriana's murder gonna definitely change the entire dynamic of this election. And if it does, when the PPP does get out of office, the persons who do get in at that point, I don't want them to do what the coalition did the last time.
Last
You
time.
got into power, you got the power, and you forgot the mission. So I want them to stay the course. Once you get into power, make sure you bring everybody to justice, especially that big bald head Van Dragbat, that Jack Bamsey, Barry Jagdeo. I want to
The
see him
demon.
in
The
cuffs.
demon. Yeah.
That
The demon.
devil, I want to see him in cuffs. That's how I'm going to end this day.
It's funny because you became articulate, eloquent, and passionate at the end of the program. And I'm happy. And so the people have to get warm because we can go down normal. We can, this program, people are afraid to come on this program because they think it's official. It can go down to the streets, and you can come on this program and have a segment in which you can reach the people in the normal way. And I'm glad that this happened. Let me say this: I have tremendous respect for Hector Nature Boy Stoute. I have tremendous respect for you, Keith Isidon Henry. And I am happy to have you on this program. And let me say this in closing, because closing remarks and we gone. Here is my closing remarks. I'll give you 30 seconds each to give your closing remarks. But let me say this to you. There can be no justice for Adrianna Younge if we do not give ourselves in the political echelons in the competition to remove the PPP the opportunity to know that we can remove the PPP. Justice cannot come in any form for Adrianna Younge if the PPP gains another victory. And as we romanticize leaders without looking at the evidence of the possibility of a triumph at the polls, without looking at the track record of those leaders in an objective manner, we have failed Adrianna. We have failed Adrianna. I close by saying this to you. The most important personal thing I will take away from this program, I know the people take away the gist of the program, the politics and everything, and that's important. But for me tonight, single-handedly, because there will be other programs, the most important thing I'm taking away from this program is that I was able to unite Hector Nature Boy Stoute and Keith Isidon, and that I hope I can see a picture in the near future of the two of you sitting together having a laugh and a drink. Unity is the most important thing in any race. Unfortunately, in every race, it is hard. It is still lacking in the black race. And as we continue to misconstrue the walk that would bring us into a united position, let us not forget that ingratitude, disrespect, arrogance, and all of that will never enable unity. We have to start from a position in which we are humble and we see the people as our leaders, not we as theirs. Your closing remark, Keith, and your closing remark, Hector. And your closing remarks, and we end here.
Norman, I want to thank you for having me here. I want to thank your audience for having me here also. Like I said, justice for Adrianna Younge, my brother Fudjane, Peters. Let's keep up the fight. Let's keep pressure. That's it.
Go ahead, Hector. Closing remarks.
Thank you again, Mr. Brown, for reaching down into the garbage heap and pulling a vagabond like me out and putting me on your program. I am truly humbled. All I can say is to all of my brothers and sisters that were out there yesterday, I don't want nobody coming up to me and telling me that they want justice for Adrianna and they're not voting for some opposition party in the next elections, whether it be Team Mohammed, whether it be APNU, PNC, or whoever it may be. You cannot justice for Adrianna and you vote in PPP, because under the PPP there will never be any justice for Adrianna, because as far as they're concerned, it was an accidental drowning. The case is closed. On to the next. So if you want justice for this young lady, and I've seen so many people on Facebook crying out for justice for Adrianna, if you want justice for Adrianna, you have to do the right thing. And I pray that God bless you, You guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other until we meet again.
And in closing, Walter Rodney wrote a brilliant book, Groundings with My Brothers. Tonight, I have grounded with my brothers. We've gone into the grassroots. We have been open in our speech. I really enjoyed this program because it was, to some extent, an informal program. I introduced to the world on this program Keith Isidon Enery, and no stranger to the Guyanese public, controversial activist, and that is what makes someone climb the ladder. Controversy, there's no wrong or right. My brother Hector, Nature Boy Stoute, thank you so much for being here on Voice of the Diaspora. Until next time, we are a part of the struggle.
Ooh, confident in a Jaja, know you're not gonna make me suffer. Enemies trying them up it, scatter and batter and flatter. Protect my people, Jah. No let them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my nation, Jah. Cause we no want me no land to no slaughter. Protect my people, Jah. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect my nation, Jah. Hey, protect my nation, Jah. Downtown and up here ground, you know. Holy attention, trouble surround. Marcus prophesy, head I go roll. Me wonder if prophecy I go unfold. Uptown, can't go downtown, you know. All country people worried, you know. We means of survival blurred. Worried in a Middlesex land, well I'm sorry. Father help me, some nana have mercy. Father help me, preserve Jamaica beauty. But want you protect my people, Jah. No make them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my nation, Jah. Hey, protect my people, Jah. Hey, look at the youth them, watch them. Can the beast have a system to trap them? The police and the thugs are your children. And you alone have authority to judge them. Could I go suffer for bad? The place I go mad. No make it get bad like over Baghdad. When politics fail and religion fail, and most I alone will hail. Protect your people, Jah. No make them get caught in the crossfire. Protect my people, Jah. Cause we no want me no land to no slaughter. Protect your people, Jah. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect your people, Jah. I tell a town and I be a ground, you know. Holy attention, trouble surround. Marcus prophesy, head I go roll. Me wonder if I know prophecy I unfold. Uptown, can't go downtown, you know. All country people worried, you know. We means of survival blurred. Worries in a Middlesex land, well I'm sorry. Father help me, some nana have mercy. The most I help me, preserve Jamaica beauty. But why you protect your people, Jah? Now let them get caught in the crossfire. Protect your nation, Jah. A Babylon start this wildfire. Protect your people, Jah. Cause they don't know what them doing. Protect your people, Jah. Mind the whole place get moving. Confident.
The 90s 100%. Adrianna Younge actually draw me 100% to the Guyanese family, and see that the community support each other. And if all of us will do that, this world will be a better place. Shout out to all the Guyanese celebrating right now. You're independent. This is beautiful. I want y'all saying peace 100% to let them know that we can party together and nothing goes wrong. Alright? Like I told y'all, this song right here is dedicated to Adrianna. If you Guyanese and you out here representing for Adrianna, put your flags up right now. We gonna do it different. You ready? Work for it. Where you at, man? Let's go. Big up Sean on the truck, you already know. GT man, right?
From the enemy, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
It's all about justice, right?
You need to talk to the Lord, hear my cry. I cannot do my prayer. From the end of the earth, when I cry unto thee.
We gonna show them how we get on different from Utica, right? On Church Avenue, we act civilized. Up on Utica, bring up Auntie Barbara, watch the vibes, watch the vibes. They're saying, everybody, you gotta go behind the truck before we move. You gotta go behind the truck. Everybody go behind the truck. We doing it different down Utica. They're gonna take 2 minutes. Let's go, let's go.
Here we go. Hear my cry, oh, I take on to my prayer.
Watch how my Guyanese people organize and be civilized. Watch it.
I cry unto thee.
I want all my Guyanese flag behind the truck, right?
Lead me to the rock that is higher than I.
Justice for Adrianna, right? You ready? You ready? Auntie Barbara, pick up yourself, pick up yourself. Everyone on the sidewalk, come behind the truck. We doing it different. We gonna show them how our Guyanese people get time. All the people on the sidewalk get behind the truck.
You need to talk to the Lord, hear my cry. I cannot do my prayer. From the end of the earth, I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed,
Justice for Adrianna. It's all about justice for Adrianna. Dr. Rick Fredberg who put this together, alright? Shout to the whole Young family, man. We appreciate y'all, man.